What's up, you bastards? It's West Shrimp Boy Savage coming at you live. Tonight, we're going to talk about a variety of subjects on the GPPC. I'm playing Golden Souls 2 Doom. Hell, a modded Doom. It's fun. And I'm going to upload. And alright, for example, I'm going to talk about voluntaryism a little bit. I'm going to talk about the truth about the NAP, which is known as the non-aggression principle. Various elements in food, nutrition, shit like that. A few things about investments. A few discoveries I made in some research, and I'm going to promote some products and some companies. We're going to talk about culinary, like food traditions and shit, as well as someone very autistic Sith wannabe in the chat with me knows very well about. And I'm going to tell you guys this Chardonnay, kind of dark for Chardonnay, but it's kind of... It's very nice. Even though it's a little dark for Chardonnay, it's kind of nice. And yeah.
Very nice.
I gotta the aftertaste, like it hits you going down. It hits you with a little bit of a sweet, fruity, and oak characters to it. Like, huh.
Well, look who's all Mr. Wine Snob.
Bite me.
I will. Where?
Bite my hairy white ass.
Yes, sir. Give me that ass. Nom nom. Already off to a fantastic start here.
I was going to watch porn, but this, no.
Yeah, I'm drinking a green apple. It's called whatever. The drink is called green apple sourpuss or whatever. It's pretty awesome. I had a couple of shots of it. Oh, hey, we gotta. Hey, I gotta have my booze. You understand? And Palpatine behind the scenes. Hey guys, I'm like George Soros. You know, just what I have to be.
Supposedly.
Ooh yeah. Hey, don't say too much.
So I'm here with an autistic Sith wannabe. I'm with a crazy Christian and Mackie the Villain. If you want to go check him out on Twitch and his streams, please do so.
We'll leave a link in the description, hopefully.
Please do.
I'm fucking tired, so that sounds like a death.
You're tired and I'm lazy. What's new?
Dude, it's fucking 4:46 fucking morning. What the fuck do you expect? You expect a hyperactive me?
I was being a smart ass, but okay. I already know what you meant.
No, but like, if you want a hyperactive me, you need to do this, like, in my midday.
Hunter shotgun kind of works like the super shotgun, except you can fire. The main form of firing is 2 barrels, or 1 barrel at a time. Like both barrels, each barrel is fired by itself, and then the right-click alt fire is both shells at once. Like this. Reload. Like that. Fucking hell. So you guys know, and I'm also drinking chicory coffee. Particular brew is very, very beautiful New Orleans stuff, French style. It's called it's a blend of dark roast and roasted chicory. From New Orleans. The name is French, obviously. It's Café du Monde. It's pretty good for something that's like it was $4 a freaking can. You know, it's pretty decent. Ah! Damn, almost died. I almost did. Here we go. I hate this level so much. If I can't get around it entirely. Oh, fuck.
Sounds like you're having fun.
Uh-huh. I'm probably gonna cheat my ass off in this if I can't get it out just to beat it, because I've fucking been in this level, through this level multiple times, didn't get out, still couldn't get out, and I did it I think about 20 times just trying to play through it. At least I'll tell you if I'm doing it, fuckers. Hey, I'm not like some fuckheads out there. It's like, oh, I never cheat on a game, and then goes immediately cheating like fucking mad on his live on a fucking gameplay.
Beater, pumpkin beater.
Yeah, speaking of beaters.
Beater, wife beater.
Speaking of beaters, if my Discord tag in my server, Dipperinic Discord, is motherfucker. No, it's West the Baby Bunny Beater offer, just for why not.
I have a feeling I know who you're referring to.
Actually, I don't know. It's partially that. It's partially that individual, but it's also come from a few naming traditions. I come from a family of using fucked up gaming profile names for games like online or shit like that. Like one of my bros named himself the Baby Bunny Beater for a while. So, and then my personal favorite was when somebody in the family used to play Wolfenstein Enemy Territory and called themselves Jew Testicles. So yeah, like my Cards Against Humanity stream, if you ever want to watch that, I call myself, motherfucker, I call myself Racist Titty Raper.
Ooh.
Okay,
So, want to start this conversation off?
Yeah, well, let's see. Well, I want to just get by what I had to say about the non-aggression principle out of the way. A lot of criticisms, I think, thrown towards it, I think disenthrall really fucking dismantle, because, for example, it's a very logically consistent, you know, fucking position to argue the negative from, and you like when it how well the NAP works is how well you argue with it. For example, what are your definitions of aggression or force? Like, what are they exactly? And et cetera, et cetera. Like, you gotta, you know, have a approach to it that's gonna work. And you have to actually know what the fuck you're doing. Holy shit, that was close. And you gotta know what the fuck you're doing. Oh, whoo!
Hey, quiet, Wes. We're making our evil plan. Quiet.
Stop. No.
We're trying to have an intellectual discussion here, Mr. Sith Lord.
Sith wannabe, more like.
Oh, Sith wannabe. Pish posh. Like, you're freaking... You're like a
You are a Sith assassin.
No, I am a Sith Lord.
You are a dark.
Okay. I guess I would be of the, being, that predate the dark side, the modern Sith and the Sith, expansion of Sith magic by the. I guess I'd be the Jedi. The precursors to the modern Jedi, whatever.
Sith architects are the best.
Without the original Jedi Order that practiced both the dark and the light sides in balance, you wouldn't have shit.
Again, well, yeah, maybe, but again, there was even
I find
before
that
then. There
whole
was
storyline to be dumb.
all right. I think. Look, can I keep saying? Anyway, as I was saying, whatever. There's even people before the Jedi. There was the Rakata, their ancient Rakata that
The
mastered.
Rakata, yeah, I know. They were dark side users solely.
Yeah, well, no, actually, there was probably some Rakatans that were ancient, such as the, I forget what they're called, but they're in code form, bro. Well, there were I can't remember all of them, but whatever and all that. I can barely remember it, but there are, like, mid-side users in the Rakata. But yet again, the Rakata are quite the vicious species.
They were like vicious frog people.
More than that, but yeah, whatever. They basically conquered the whole entire galaxy for their time, the Rakata Empire.
Yeah, and then their technology and other stuff was taken on by the Sith race, the original Sith race, and then yeah, and they expanded that. And the dark side users of the original Jedi Order combine their knowledge with that to create the first form of the modern Sith, going from King Adeus, was it?
Yeah, King Adeus. Yeah, it was the first king of. He was the first Sith king on Korriban. They thought of him as the Sithari, but he wasn't the true Sithari. But he was damn powerful in his own right.
Yeah.
How did we get to this from talking about the nap?
Well, good question. It drifted off. Let's get back to it.
Fine, Star Wars is interesting.
It is, but
we'll get back to it. We'll revert back to this later then. But
that'll be the last topic. But what I was going motherfuck!
Okay, the first thing we hear about the non-aggression principle, some rage. Less rage. Yeah, you are.
No, I get fucking squished like a fucking melon by Gallagher and a fucking hammer. But anyways, the non-aggression principle is just a logical, consistent way of arguing the negative. For ethical positions, that's really all it is, and how well you argue is basically how well the NAP works, how well you argue it essentially.
Well, yeah, basically whatever all the non-aggression principle states basically, as far as I can see, is that whatever, don't harm you and I won't bother you either. Whatever.
Essentially, and
yeah.
But the thing is, a lot of things that like criticisms of the NAP, tend to be, you could easily like round them off to like, well, did you define your use of what do you mean by aggression or by force and stuff like that accurately enough?
Surely, basically any offensive strike taken towards another person or intention of doing harm. So, for example, if you whatever and all that. So basically, if you don't want to try and hurt someone, like punch them or something like that or whatever, that'd be a violation of that. And there's more, but yeah, whatever. You don't really have to drill down to the itty-bitty of what a lot of states do.
Well, I know that you don't, but the thing is, like if you're gonna go about aggression and force, and then you know, and go into like what examples of fraud are and shit, like okay, fraud would be using deception to steal or deceive somebody into taking money from you in a way that. Deceiving somebody out of money or property or whatever it be, or capital, that they otherwise would not be willing to do if it wasn't for your deception. And there's other definitions you could put, but that's just one. That's just one way of approaching fraud, and fraud can be easily against the NAP. I guess you could say how doxing could be, could be a violation of the NAP if you look at the right to privacy as a negative right, I suppose.
Yep. Yeah, I would imagine it is, or it's whatever and all that, and also again,
Fuck!
fraud would probably be like, even if it isn't, like, let's say, like, hypothetically speaking, that fraud isn't against an app. Again, who is going to want to be in business with someone who commits fraud and finds out about it and spreads around it and has everything? Like, who's going to be in business with that person that commits fraud and all that?
Who's going to want to associate with them in a social order anyway? Not even looking at the business angle.
Yeah, exactly. So whatever. So one way or another, if they commit fraud or do something bad and all that stuff, they're gonna get stabbed in the back. So whatever. But like, what goes is like, oh, I don't believe in karma necessarily, but in the business world, if you do something like that, what goes around comes around.
I believe in a more secular form of karma that kind of matches up with Darwinism, if you will.
Fair enough.
It's something that, like, it's something based off of, like, secular Buddhist discussion of, like, David R. Gosling and Sam Harris had on one time. There was, like, an article talking about, like, religion and science, and, like, secular Buddhism and shit. It's an interesting topic. I've tried to find the article again, because if I did find it, I'd be shelling it like a motherfucker right now.
Yeah. Like, in what universe would you want to be, like, be, like, with someone that has committed fraud at some level and all of a sudden they have that?
Because if they can do it to them, what makes you think they won't do it to you?
Exactly. Well, and also, plus, again, like whatever and all that, and in an anarchist society, I don't know much about that white-collar crime or something like that, but I would know, whatever, depending on what they've done and all that stuff with the fraud and all that stuff, it could be against the non-aggression principle, technically, whatever. It would be depending on the, again, as, whatever, I don't know exactly much about all of this and so on and so forth, so, whatever, I just try to make it the, also, I haven't been on stream in 2,000 years.
Fish, mainly. Oh shit, that was close. I love the fucking themes. I'm gonna save this here.
Okay, so is that enough for the non-aggression principle?
I suppose. And then, and I think the Disenthrall video about the non-aggression principle needs to be watched.
Excuse me for a moment.
Alrighty.
So, next topic.
Alright, so we talked about booze, or whatever. I'm going to go back to referring to booze, because I love talking about booze.
I was alt-firing. I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot!
I had some blackberry Summersby, which is like a type of cooler drink. Whatever, blackberry flavored, it was amazing. And I also had, tonight, what was it again? I had summer something else I can't remember. Frig, oh my gosh, epic retard alert on my part, holy crap.
Let's see what
else.
else.
I can't even remember all that I drank tonight, but I don't know.
Okay, so the next topic, voluntarism, is that correct?
I believe so. These can go in any order, it doesn't matter necessarily, but yeah, we can do it like this.
Well, I think this is a topic discussed half to death, but I'm going to talk about
the arguments that pro-government and like other arguers have are no longer convincing. I've read through so much shit. I forgot to mention I forgot to mention the last piece about the nap is like it's to argue from the negative and to say, okay, how does this like it's okay, how is this going to benefit me? Like, okay, let's say if there's a mild violation of my rights, for example, and it's for the net positive for everybody around me, including myself. Okay, would you demonstrate that, please? Because I'm going to argue from doubt because of using this axiom, this principle.
Sorry, hold on. So a positive, like whatever, a violation of positive rights? Is that what you're asking?
No. If somebody said a mild violation of my negative right is on the positive, they're active claiming. Like, okay, how what do you mean by mild? How would it benefit me, and how would it benefit others as a whole? For example, you could, like, okay, well, if I didn't act on, say, violating somebody's property and privacy, I hack their computer to stop them from launching a nuke. That would benefit myself and thousands of millions of others. Obviously, there's situations like that. Okay, well, that's beneficial. I'll concede to that. But you gotta actually, paint an argument like that.
Again,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, in that case, if they're about to launch a nuke or something like that, or if you have reasonable evidence to believe so and all that, so yeah, basically, yeah, they already went across, like, with something that powerful. I guess they already went on the aggression and all that. But you're not even meeting them on the same level of aggression and all that. At the worst case scenario, all you would have to do is just apologize to the person for hacking into their computer. Or whatever, but unless you did something really shitty to them. So,
Right.
Whatever. It doesn't. Everything will be resolved at the end of the frigging day. Like, it's not a big of a deal.
See, that case-by-case reason, also known as casuistry, is what allows you to factor in contextualism and consequentialism of, the consequence. Oh, if I didn't do this, oh, look what happened. We're fucked. Oh, this person, and it's situation. That's what it takes. It's argued from the negative with the NAP. That's all it is. They got to prove to you if it benefits you or not, and you got to avoid all the logical fallacies and all that shit to do it. Fuck.
Gotta avoid
Are
the
you
logical
sure you
fallacies.
should be playing that game on the stream?
PewDiePie.
What the fuck? Is that a duck? Hello?
Suck my infinitely long schlong of fucking splash damage, you fucking boners.
What the frick? Oh, man.
So this is the appeal of the stream. Alright, I get it.
Making friggin' jokes like this on the stream. Oh my god. Totally intellectual, totally.
Alright, I finally got out of that shithole squisher. But, onto voluntarism. Honestly, the logic to it, there's the epistemology to it, it's pretty sound. Objectivists claim to be, but they contradict themselves on it. And it's been called out by a lot of voluntarists. I mean, I don't have to do it. I don't have to do anything to call that out. It's already been done to death about them. I don't dislike objectivists, but when it comes to the argumentation and shit, I strongly disagree, to say the very least.
Yeah.
But yeah. And the other thing is, it's funny as somebody said, there's no such thing as utilitarian ethics. It's like, yes, there is. It's an ethic argument. It's called utilitarianism. And what does it mean? Oh, it's very simple. Oh, unless you didn't forget, or unless you fucking forgot. It basically means what's a net positive for fucking everyone in a situation. That's what it means.
Net positive, well, sure.
And maximum utility and net positive for everyone all around. That's essentially what it means. And everybody keeps fucking that one up. So many people keep fucking that up. Like,
Well, what do you think of Shane Killian's argument utilitarianism against utilitarianism?
I'd have to check it. If I see and I find a disagreement with it, I could press an approach I have. But I mean, you can have a utilitarian-oriented argument. That, like, the the argument I used about the nuke launching thing. I'm still the active side if I tell somebody I need to do it. I'm still the active one. But what I did was I showed a way that was pretty consistent, I guess, and showed, oh, this is what happens if I don't do this. If I don't act on this. Oh fuck.
Well,
And it's it fits all three. It's contextualist. In other words, another way of calling it situational. It's also utilitarian because it's a net positive for me and others all around, and it's consequentialist at the same time.
Anyway,
But yeah, let's go back to voluntarism. Sorry, I had to finish that piece. I forgot to add that in.
Alright, well, it's just that as long as you have evidence that, the person is seeking to, like, do something wrong or something like that, or whatever, then, or so on and so forth, or whatever, then, like, for example, if someone was threatening to blow up your house and you saw them, like, putting dynamite on your lawn or something like that, or preparing for something or whatever, then yeah, you could stop them and take in, like, whatever to stop them, because again, they've already committed an act of aggression, so on and so forth. They look like they're intent on doing it, they're not bluffing. Point.
If I wanted to argue from a rights angle about doxing, that would be how I would do it. Just it's an invasion of my right to privacy. It's a negative right too.
Yep.
And another way to do it as well is to say, well, using a utilitarian argument, I can say, well, the potential for if I'm gonna, there's one of the few ways you can tackle the theft thing. Is if either your ID is tied to direct property or capital or both, or somebody else's, one or the other or both, and you have excuse me, and it would be useful for myself and others all around to fucking stop this before someone could dox me and used my docs or whatever's connected to my docs to steal. To give it to somebody, fuck, that can allow it to steal. Autosave. That's how I would do that. And it's still pretty consistent, even on the active side. And this ain't the right one. Good, there we go. I'm probably going to save that. Yeah. Voluntarism. It's ideal to have voluntary interaction. That's how progress and competition and cooperation coexisted, was through voluntarism throughout all society histories. And the societies that did well, pretty well, were before government encroachment, were market anarchies that they were basically built on what we consider voluntarist principles today, and they survived pretty well. They had collectively owned communal and they had private property in what I guess I could call it pre-Lockean in this sense. Because it's like Lockean. I guess it was similar to Lockean norms, but predates it. Okay, I'm gonna definitely save this. And
Well, yet again, I doubt John Locke would be the be-all, end-all of such a thing, but for sure, I guess. Hello? Did I say something stupid or something?
sorry, go ahead.
Or did you miss what I said, or did I bother?
Yeah, I missed what you said because I just fucking died.
Well, alright, I basically said that, whatever, that I doubt John Locke, out of anyone, is the be-all, end-all of such a thing, but, whatever, he's pretty decent character, I would say.
He's a decent character, but I think...
Yeah, he's the type with the greater type argument.
The social contract argument was garbage. It's self-defeating, and he went with it. That was his weakness. Anybody, the Spooner continued it, and then Rothbard continued it, but with much better grounding.
Well, it's all. Don't forget about like the greater good type argument.
Yeah, he did that too, but all the like classical era son bitches did it too, though, to an extent. Unfortunately, they all.
Good. No, like we must, whatever and all that. Like, I'm not making a threat on here. I'm not making a threat when I say this, but it's retard. Like again, the greater good type argument. Again, like you can think of all kinds of evil atrocities that we could whatever do and all that stuff. Okay, for example, you should kill all children and all that stuff to prevent measles or whatever. It's for the greater good. I don't know.
That's how, folks. He's saying how fallacious the greater good argument is, and that was his demonstration.
Yeah, exactly. It's whatever. I'm not suggesting such a thing. That's a terrible atrocity. But whatever and all.
But that's the slippery slope the greater good argument goes into.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, that's basically it. Like, whatever. Pol Pot, like, whatever. And all that, like, that's how he dodged and evade basically every awful thing he ever did. Whatever. I think I remembered, like, I can't remember exactly or pinpoint. I think in the video like I watched about the most evil men in history or whatever, a documentary. Pol Pot would evade criticism and all that stuff on the basis of the greater good.
Fuck!
Like every single thing, like you would just evade criticism by using the greater good as an argument.
Finally, got it again.
Like.
That was pretty much the talking point from every authoritarian ideology.
Yep, the greater good.
Yeah, especially when collectivism rears its ugly head.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I guess, I don't know, like, collectivism in itself, as long as you're not, like, thinking of whatever, it's the greater good of killing people and all stuff, or, like, what is it called again, shooting down certain people and all that stuff because of it and all that, but, again, you have to be careful with your way of thinking with that sort of stuff.
Well,
whatever.
I can't really call it collectivism because you're really collectivizing under a common shared individual self-interest, essentially. I mean, that's technically what's going on, so I would... That's technically what's going on.
Collectivism or whatever.
It's collectivizing under a common self-interest, I guess.
Yeah.
To call it outright collectivism is kind of, it's iffy.
It is iffy, yes. Whatever and all that. I guess you just gotta be... all I'm doing is warning people again. You just gotta be careful with that type of, like mindset and all that, not to go like...
Yeah, stupid people
like
in large groups. George Carlin said that many a time. See, my libertarian views, a lot of it originated from George Carlin. Anyway, a lot of my views originally came from George Carlin.
Huh? Yeah. Interesting, but it's whatever and all that.
Whoops. But yeah, a lot of my leanings come originally from George Carlin from when I was young. I'm glad I grew up with him when it comes to that shit. I could not stand his lefty Marxian sympathizing he did off and on. That part, that's the only thing that about George Carlin that really pissed me the fuck off. That drove me nuts.
Yeah, he was misled down that direction. Or something like
he was so much smarter than that. He was brilliant. He was smarter than that. He shouldn't have let himself get led down led astray like that. That's why it pissed me off.
Well, again, like it's whatever. Like again, it's the same thing about public schools as well and all that. Like what I've heard from like George Carlin quotes like about like how they're basically not even meant about educating people. They're meant about like
indoctrination centers to tell them how to obey their corporate government masters.
Well, yeah, if public school doesn't work, then they employ juvie or employ prison or something like that or whatever, basically. You get my point?
Yep, damn right.
Or they fine you, like whatever, steal your money basically or whatever. When they like for example, I don't know, like you don't wear a life.
Fuck
you
yes.
Make the choice. you make the choice, like, for example, like in Canada, I guess in certain scenarios, like, you don't wear a life jacket or something like that or whatever, or in Maine or something, like, whatever, if you don't wear a life jacket, you get a fine. And I do it because I care. That's their excuse for it, like, no,
They care
sorry,
about
dude,
our
you can
money,
do whatever
that's
we,
for sure.
sorry, we can do whatever we want with our lives, thank you very much.
After 69 fucking attempts to run through this level, I finally got it.
Nice.
Like, whatever, it's the thing, that's the thing that, like, whatever, people don't understand, like, people can do whatever they want with their lives as long as they're not harming anyone else. So, like, whatever and all that, well, they can, like, for as far as I'm concerned, like, even though, don't get me wrong, I'm not, like, encouraging self-harm or something like that or whatever, but, again, even, like, self-harm and all that stuff or whatever, like, again, there's, like, yes, you could try and help the person or, like, stop them from doing it and all that stuff or whatever in certain ways and all that stuff or whatever, but
It's
can't
ultimately
really,
their
like,
choice.
it's ultimately their choice, exactly. You can't do
A lot of, the funny thing is, a lot of people hate on, like, drug addiction, like, drugs and stuff. It's like, I'm sorry, but, you know, the addiction, it all starts from a choice, too.
Yeah, exactly. It's and whatever and all that. And plus, well, unless it's like instantly like gonna kill them or something like that, like instant or near it.
Or if it negatively affects others around them as well, almost, you know, not just.
Well, if it negatively affects them and others around them and all that stuff, that can't change anything either. Again, like for example, someone like cutting their wrist and all that stuff would probably negatively affect others around them and all that stuff. Like seeing your loved one doing that and all that stuff would really suck. But whatever and all that. But again, like whatever. But in that case, whatever the point. But you don't like again like it's the most dumb retarded move. Again, what you do is you put them in the hospital or you get them some help or something like that with a counselor or something. You don't whatever and all that. Throw them in jail or something like that. And you don't throw the people in jail for selling knives. Or whatever.
Once you get into voluntarism, it's really interesting looking at the rest of the world and seeing how badly bent out of shape people get over even the thought of what other people might be doing with their own lives. Like,
oh, I
isn't
know
it just
it's
so fascinating?
like it goes back into the olden times. Like again, like everything is degeneracy and all that stuff. The way to like dictate what people can do in their bedroom, even though it doesn't harm anyone else, and so on and so forth.
This is how I look at it. It's a vice for a reason. You can have to enslave yourself to it. And when people try to use vices as political agendas and to like, I'm sorry, but if something's a vice, it's sure you can do what you want, but let's put it this way. There's a reason a vice is a vice. While I don't consider it as a crime in the traditional sense of, say, oh, like, you know, rape, murder, theft, or something like that, you could let yourself get enslaved by it, which is not good.
No, it's not
Indeed.
good. It's not good to be dependent on anything for that matter. Like again, like dependent on alcohol, dependent on
Sex,
like
drugs,
it's
any of it.
Yeah,
it's a vice.
Yeah, exactly. It's like like there's multiple forms of like what you call enslavement or whatever, or dependence.
Yeah, that's the thing. For me,
Yeah, exactly.
you know, the only thing you can do is to offer to guide them or help them if they want, you know, if they truly desire it or whatever, you know. That's all you can really do,
Yeah,
and
well,
then try to find a way for them
like
to, you know, help them find a way to, you know, get out of it, you know, out of the vice for their
yeah,
own
well,
sake.
like, again, like, alright, sorry.
Yeah, I'm done now. That's what I'm saying. It's just you help them try to, if you can, offer to help them get out of their vice for their own sake. This is how you have to handle it. Voluntary's too late.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah, like whatever. Like for example, if you saw someone like burning themselves or something like that, then you basically try and help them and so on, so forth, whatever and all that. Like whatever and all that. Like again, like whatever and all that. So on and so forth. You have to just try to help them and all that. Whatever.
Like for instance, like for me, I didn't go to anybody about it. but I did have a serious problem though. I had one for a while, until a few years ago. That's a couple of years ago. I say I had porn addiction.
Oof.
Yeah. Let me tell you what it's like though. There's a reason. There's an old saying. It's like when they talk about how positive something is, like how good a food tastes or how helpful it could be. Like, oh, it's like a sore dick. You just can't beat it. That's one. That's one thing. But another is the fact that you're like, okay. Here's an anatomy lesson. A lot of I don't know if a lot of boys and girls know, but let me tell you. Your your testicles carry 100 times the zinc that's 100 times what's in your bloodstream. So when you deplete that, you kind of you're not only tiring yourself by depleting that, you're also affecting your immune system and other enzymatic processes when you deplete that zinc. That's how unfortunately. And you will feel it. You'll feel tired, you'll feel dependent on it, you'll feel hooked on it. So, it's fucked up. It didn't last that long, thank God, but it did it was for a little while. I had it for a little while. I never spoke about it. I'm speaking about it now, but I got myself out of it. Surprisingly, because I'm a stubborn twat. But I'm glad for that stubborn streak I have. But it's not always my absolute best strength. It did help me out in this case, but because I had to use my stubbornness to enforce a self-control measure on myself. Like I said, I know what it's like being a slave to a vice. It sucks. And it's not free to do as you want, but it's not good if you slave yourself to it, unless it's what you're into. Unless you want to waste yourself away like that, then it's whatever. But most people don't because they don't like how it makes them feel. The consequences of it does.
There's probably other effects of lack of zinc as well, probably like anxiety or getting miserable or something like that.
Oh yeah, there was a dude that I used to talk to. He's like, I was like, God, I'm just so sleepy all the time. I was like, why? I was like, what is it? I say, okay, what do you eat in a day? What nutrients do you get in a day or something? I was just asking as a question. I don't give medical advice. I give out info. My medical advice I do give out about anything I talk about on my channel is like, first off, learn as much about it as you can. Use what I have as a starting point. 2, go to a doctor. The second, third are the most important. Go to a healthcare professional. Ideally, you want to follow Hippocratic Oath, but a healthcare professional. And get their consent or their blessing to try something. And because they have the means to help you and test you in case something goes wrong. They have the technology and the means to do so.
For sure.
For that field. And the third thing is, if they tell you yes, you can get second and third opinions or even fourth opinions or views if you want to. But if you get a yes, the next thing is get allergy tested. That's the only medical advice you get, and it's also my advisory, my warning. Because if you don't follow those 3 things, I'm not responsible for you. Straight up, straight at fucking up. That's also my advisory. The only medical advice I give is those 3 pieces. It's my advisory.
Yeah, I will of course we believe in modern medicine. Well, for the most part.
But yeah, it's a lot of stuff. But anyways, I was asking him. I was like, okay, well, what are you eating today, or what is this, or what's that? And he's like, oh. I was like, well, there's part of your problem. Might be part of your problem there. What do you mean? I was like, nutritional density is important. And then and he was like, well, I said, there's anything else you can do? It's like, he said, well, so I probed him enough. He said, well, I do wank off every day. I was like, whoa, every day? Holy shit, son. It's like, what? I said, dude, you're draining your omega-3 DHA EPA that's actually stored in your, that's emulsified in your semen. 1, 2. You're depleting your zinc. So, yeah, so I don't know if he ever got help with that vice, but again, that's the best I could do. Everything else is in his own hands.
Yep, that's the way things go.
But, you know, that's just not to be graphic, folks. I know it's a pretty mature little topic there, but I'm just saying as an example, like, that's all I did was tell him what I could.
Well, as far as
suggestions.
It's mostly medical stuff. Again, we're not speaking about like a weird, like creepy thing on the internet type of point.
Right, and I told that's all I could do. What he does is entirely in his own hands. Hopefully, he took my information anyway. I said, and if it does, you know, if you that's on him, you know. Shit.
So it depletes your zinc and other things. Your omega thing?
Oh, they carry your seminal fluid can have emulsified omega-3 DHA and EPA, as well as lactic acid as and a bunch of other compounds, as well as testosterone and hormones and all kinds of things. And zinc is the biggest mineral that's in it, though.
Good to know.
So be careful about depleting it. That's.
Zinc, yeah. I'm actually like, whatever. Not friendly. Anyway, let's move on from that topic, I guess. Whatever. What else do you want to talk about?
Voluntarism, but that's the thing. That's how I approach shit like that. But actually, even before I learned voluntarism, that's how I approached a lot of shit, for the most part.
Oh yeah, I know. Well, whatever, and Crazy Christian is right. I'm like, yeah, not like whatever. Like, yeah, it's the whole world, whatever, and all that. Well, again, like, as I've stated time and time again on several streams I've been on and all that stuff, although whatever, like those streams are, whatever, no longer online anymore, I guess I should say. But anyway, like again, like it's whatever, like people like say like how much more ethical and sound we are in comparison to like the ancient inquisitors and all that stuff, the Roman Empire and such. But like, I'm like thinking, we're not much better. Right. Again, like, instead of engaging in torture, like physical torture and all that, or, well, they did have mental torture back then, like, the whole process of mental torture, but, again, like, whatever and all that, but, like, what we engage now is still in mental torture with, like, prisons over, like, stupid drug-related crimes and all that stuff that are completely pointless and meaningless, and it's just, like, again, the whole drug war could be ended with one decision. All you have to freaking do is basically stop it and give it into the hands of parents and all that stuff. You don't want like teenagers getting addicted to it.
Give it to the hands of parents. Legalize the shit in a way you could go to a legal dispensary where you can get your fix and not cause trouble.
Well, not only that, again, it's also like with the black market, what will happen is the demand will be diminished and all that stuff, whatever, and all that,
and all that crime rates from that will go down so low, it'll be fucking retarded. All you do when you try to ban something or try to be authoritarian is look at North Korea. Black markets are rampant.
Not even North Korea. Like, look in your own friggin' country. Like, back during the 1920s, like, look at what happened with the alcohol ban. Or
I know.
Like,
I know how that was done too, but that's a different story.
Like, how quickly that backfired, friggin'.
I know, but you know what happened? John D. Rockefeller was doing market manipulations to try to keep, with the petroleum, and back then, kerosene was called coal oil, and it had a lot of aromatics in it. Well, they distilled a lot of the aromatics off and mixed them up with some other agents from the petroleum, and it was technically a waste product that they got rid of by, you know, when they managed to figure out these chemical tweaks, they figured out, oh well, fuck, this might work, and they went into selling. They couldn't sell it because guess what? The fueling system was so decentralized. They call this product gasoline. It's a byproduct of kerosene. It was a byproduct of kerosene, a waste product of kerosene making. But they could not fucking do anything with it. And, well, they did these chemical tweaks I explained. John Rockefeller had to do something to push for it. Well, he bribed, and I hate that everybody calls it lobbying, but it's bribery. Lobbying is something different, and it's perfectly justifiable. Lobbying is something that can keep corporations in check. What they do is bribe. They just call it lobbying to dupe people. That's, again... what I was saying was, oh, fucking hell. I'm about to go get some supplies. I'm gonna leave this place right at the moment. Sorry, give me a second. And what Rockefeller did was he paid the first generation of feminists. He paid the Christian women's temperance movement. And yeah, let's just say that that's what got the alcohol banned. He bribed them, paid them to campaign against distilleries. Because all the tractors and cars that were Model Ts for the most part, they were all running either kerosene under a pre-vaporizer system or alcohol, or you know, and that was what they ran on. They just had to adjust ignition timing and all that shit. And that's what caused gasoline to start being sold. It was through that's what caused it, was what caused the prohibition. And that's how it happened. There's a lot.
Though, I imagine gasoline would, whatever, since I imagine it's pretty much more efficient and all that.
It depends on how you burn it. It's not very that efficient, because most of your gasoline, I don't care what all the fuckers tell you, if it was so effective, why do we have oxidizing stages on a catalytic converter if it was that effective? It's not. They don't burn it effectively enough.
Well, engines nowadays, I doubt they're going to burn alcohol. I doubt they're meant to burn alcohol or kerosene in any way.
Well, you can adjust them to use it to burn ethanol. You just need better fuel line material and shit like that. That's really... And plasma ignition runs everything better. Then you have the... what is it called? What else is it called?
Well, it would also make booze actually cheaper and all that if we had it in cars and all that stuff. That'd be interesting.
Well, we'd have to. Well, everything's centralized. Most of your distilleries are in fucking Iowa. But this is what happens: corporate deception and duping and bribing people to further that. It's not voluntary, and you know, it's at the expense of the people.
Right, yeah, like, again, like, okay, now, so hold on, if we had alcohol on our engines, you're saying that, like, you realize how to increase the demand insanely and all that for alcohol, so, or
well, you
ethanol,
decentralize the infrastructure, and I already figured ways of doing this. Entirely voluntary. It would follow the supply-demand curve quite nicely, and it would do it in excess, actually. It would actually be effective enough that it'd be retarded effective. Retarded.
And then imagine, I can only imagine how cheap alcohol would be, or ethanol, or whatever.
Oh, it'd be retarded. It'd be like, I don't know if it'd be exactly like gasoline was back in the 30s, but it'd be pretty damn well off.
Oh my gosh. So we can just go to liquor stores.
if the schematic, if the planning that I was talking about, if the calculating and infrastructure changes I'm talking about were put in place, it could be like that pretty easily, I'd imagine.
So then I'm curious then, why did we never revert back to alcohol if it was so effective?
Well, because several reasons. The way they're growing things right now is at the expense of the people. It's also through subsidies that are, subsidies by the government on petroleum, petrochemical. It's a waste product of a heavily subsidized industry. That's part one. And that's because because our modern corporations like Cargill, ConAgra, and Monsanto and shit, they use the petrochemical like phosphate, waste products to get nitrogen to make ammonium nitrates and shit like that out of them to grow. It's not very efficient, but that's what they do. It keeps them rolling, and the corporations are hella subsidized. If you understood what it's like being the vassal of Cargill or ConAgra or Monsanto, it's not a good life. It's pretty shitty. And it's again, if we voluntarily transferred to this process, but that's another subject. Let's finish our final words about voluntarism before we drift off from it again.
All right, as you wish.
Like, my reasoning for it would be, it's shown in history that people, regardless of what system comes about, or if you want to split things into a micro and macro econ view, everything tends to go towards that desire. It tends to it demands always shows up that markets tend to show up in history on their own. Secondary markets, just markets in general, they pop up because people want to voluntarily do things for themselves.
Fair enough.
Then there's the logic to it. The sound logic can be applied to it. It works pretty good. I mean, those are all they need. The logic and the evidence in history proves it to me. And then economic statistics and economic laws. I got convinced just with that alone. And then Mark Passio and a few others fortified my beliefs all the more. Or my views anyway. Not really beliefs, but my views, I guess. A lot more.
Well,
right,
what I would like to say is
we're gonna be talking about tonight.
All right, what were you gonna say, White Monk? I mean, blah.
closing.
Whatever. They already know. Okay.
Basically, voluntarism is what we already teach children nowadays, and what we consistently teach children throughout history. Just don't hurt other people. It's something that most societies already got on that level, so it's kind of sad to see that no one ever finishes the thought. So
No one does, but that's how conditioned people are, whether they want to admit to that or not.
That has to do with, ironically, well, I'm not sure about kindergarten, but again, that's how Prussian model schooling type work. Or whatever. Well, you guys know about the Prussian model and so forth.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
we
know,
do.
definitely. And also, what I'd like to say is, it's really funny how some people get so defensive against voluntarism when we're not going to try to stop them from living their lives. Like, socialists, fascists, whenever they hear voluntarism, it's so funny how they look like they've just seen a ghost. Then they start getting all up in arms, saying all kinds of stuff about us. I just find that funny is all.
Because they dead on know that what they're wrong and all that, but whatever.
But it's hard to admit when you're wrong about something. That's a pain in the ass to do.
Not really. Not if, again, depends on your pride level or your ego
A
level.
lot of people have extreme amounts of pride about certain things. That's everyone, though. It might not be much overall, but in certain areas we have excessive levels of it deep down. We all do.
Well,
The
it's
human
also
ego
having
is
to
one of the
accept
most
that basically
powerful
the entirety
things in
of
this
it's
world.
also basically having to accept that in the entirety of most of our society now and all that stuff is like whatever. Well, for the most part, it's not bad and all that stuff. It's not very healthy in some elements and all that stuff still. Like, so on and so forth. Like you have to accept that and all that stuff. Like the world's not all daisies and like rainbows and all that, and people just don't want to. People want to believe again that they're in the best era and all that stuff or whatever. And they just cannot accept that whatever things can always improve and get better and so on and so forth or whatever. But no, we have these people again like the AKA the type of people like, oh, this is the best we have, like a democracy, well, it's the best system we have, there's not much better. Like,
Somebody said, well, this is the best engineering we got in a car. I was like, no, it's not. There's a lot of government regulated mandations, regulations and shit that are fucking terrible.
Yeah, it's whatever. They'll whatever. Like again, like I can imagine like all of this whole thing. Like the monarchy is not much different than a democracy, not too much different. There's still differences, major differences. It also depends on the monarchy you have, but whatever and all that. And like again, like what is it again? Like all like what would again like again, if we still had the like monarchy today, except with like a constitution and all that stuff or something like that, things would pretty much be relatively the same for the most part.
Actually, if the Constitution was built on was built on like better like principles and shit, I guess. Well, I suppose like
that's the problem again. Like it's not that the Constitution didn't have good principles.
Well, the Constitution had weak points that should have never been put in. That was the problem. Same with the Articles of Confederation and the Confederate States of America Constitution had the same problems as the regular one. The same fucking shit.
Well, again, as I said, the problem is that also with the Constitution again. There's not only the way that a status can also like regulate like not the word I'm looking for regulate. I mean, well, I am using that word as an example, and they can weasel their way around the language and all that stuff of English because again, how English was used differently throughout history and so on and so forth, and they call it well-regulated meant like to back in those times and all that stuff. Like change billion points whatever it was to make regular, but now it's regulate means to like slap like BS rules on everything that mean nothing. Basically, and so on and so forth. And while basically they'll whatever and also again like basically how the Constitution is basically just a piece of paper at the end of the day.
Essentially, it's a magical piece of paper. It didn't have to be, but that's essentially what it is. If it was built,
by the way, for all those conservatives out there, again, like even your buddy Bush said that the Constitution is just a big piece of paper. Just look at his quote during the time of the Patriot Act. He said it in itself. One of your holy presidents. Whatever. I'm not sure how much more clear it could be that it's just a piece of paper and all that. And don't forget about the Weimar Republic of Germany and all that. Yeah, whatever I remember back in the day, like in Twitter and all that stuff about like how whatever. I guess we're moving on to a different topic now of how past governments have failed, I guess, but whatever. I remember back in the day on Twitter, like how the Weimar, like people would continue like arguing about how the Weimar Republic of Germany and all that stuff or whatever was like whatever and all that, like how they basically said whatever and all that it was impossible to bring the Weimar Republic down and all that stuff because of how much of a republic it was or whatever. Look at what happened. Well, yet again, I remember this one guy on Twitter, I forget his name, but whatever, he had a retarded-looking profile picture, I can't remember, but he said that, like, whatever, like, he went on to a bunch of semantics, BS arguments about how, the Weimar Republic had, like, significant, like, economics things and all that stuff, and like, the political atmosphere was bad and all that stuff, and, like, so what? Like, okay, so... whatever, like, they go in huge semantics and all that stuff, like, okay, so what, that, like, the U.S. could do the exact same thing the next day, or whatever and all that, like, again, like, whatever. Don't forget about, like, red flag laws and all that stuff, or whatever, which are completely subjective to anyone's whim and all that stuff, or whatever and all that, unless they're, like, having medical professionals determine what is a quote-unquote red flag, but... yet again, even then, psychologists will admit that psychology isn't black and white, whatever. I'm getting off topic here, but the point, whatever, the overall point is that, again, government will, any form of government will always become tyrannical and all that stuff, and the only way to put a stop to it is to, get rid of it entirely and keep people armed to the teeth, basically.
Either get rid of it entirely or subvert it and rebuild it into something that was not been tried but has been theorized many times by certain sectors of voluntarists. Only like certain, certain sectors of voluntarism, and including a professor of finance that I really liked who's a voluntarist and a panarchist. Anarchy could technically do it.
Classic Ireland under Brehon law or whatever.
Brehon law, but much more advanced and much more well built. Essentially, yeah.
Again, whatever, yeah, so on and so forth. Well, it's, yeah, whatever and all that. Like, well, again, like, I remember, like, this one discussion I had, like, back in the day, and I still had it several times and all that stuff. Again, like, okay, what would change, like, the government and all that stuff or whatever to be ethical and all that stuff? What would have to change? Okay, one, you'd have to get rid of taxation entirely, basically make it more like a subscription fee, basically. And all
it's
that.
A subscription fee, or contractually bind it, essentially.
Yeah, right. Or they would just say, like, whatever and all that, so on and so forth. Like, for example, if they stop paying for it or something like that or whatever, they could have, like, for example, I don't know, like, the specific department or something like that or whatever, they'll help them pack up and leave the specific plot of land or something like that or whatever and all that. They, whatever, and somehow no one has thought of this idea or whatever and all that. Like, oh, wait, like, whatever, we could have this done and so on and so forth or whatever, but no, we have to throw people who do not, like, abide by our extortion in a cage and all that stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
Or do not want to put up with our bullshit and waste our money on whatever and all that, basically. You get my point.
Yep.
And also, whatever, in the social contract, basically you signed, signed the social contract while giving birth and also with your birthing papers. I'm like, what the frick? Excuse me? No. I couldn't... At that point, when you're a baby, you're not even, like, you don't have the brain capacity to sign a contract of any kind. And all that stuff. And the, whatever, if they're gonna bring up that tacit consent BS again, like, okay, so, like, as Shane Killian, like, pointed out in one debate stream, I remember, whatever, one of the better points he had, again, if, like, whatever, I know this is a serious topic, but again, like, whatever and all that, but again, this is a good example. If a rapist, like, for example, said that, okay, like, the area perimeter around me, basically, she gave, like, in court, they could say, if you gave me, she gave me tacit consent and all that stuff to do that, even though she screamed out, no, 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 and so on and so forth, like that, or whatever.
That's the slippery slope of the tacit consent, is, oh, well, a rapist could paint out tacit consent on a whim.
Exactly.
For no effort.
Basically, yeah, whatever and all that, and although, whatever and all that, and even though no statist would follow that logic, that is their own logic. That if a rapist actually used that form of logic, they couldn't. Ironically, if they were, like, consistently sound, they couldn't deny it.
No.
It's
they
not,
could try,
I'm not
but
saying
they'd be called
okay,
bigot.
it's definitely not. Like, whatever. It's like, again, it's two consenting adults between two consenting adults. But again, by their own logic, like, whatever, that's like, whatever, tacit consent, or whatever, being nearby someone. That's frick.
Yeah. Anyway, so I think we hammered the voluntarism on the nail. I think.
Wes, I wasn't finished.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's all right. Whatever. Like, yeah, it's quite a bitch when someone uses your own BS logic against you, when your own logic backfires and all that stuff or whatever.
Most of them motherfuckers don't even respond to it. They just go,
Well, yeah, because they think, well, they're so far down the hole and all that stuff, or so unwilling to listen and all that stuff. They think that so highly of themselves and so on and so forth, and their smugness that they freeze into place and all that stuff and think and whatever. It's all a huge giant complex of some kind that people have. Again, there's a hero complex, there's an egotistical complex and all that stuff, whatever. There's all kinds of whatever things that people engage in and all that stuff with bullshit tactics and so on and so forth.
yeah.
You'll always find someone out there willing to pull bullshit. That's what I've learned in life.
Yep.
Especially when people who, whatever, like pull the burden of proof. That.
The shifting burden of proof fallacy. That's a fun one.
Yeah, it's unanimous, right? That hasn't led to multiple atrocities in history. Totally not. Like, that's basically what the Spanish Inquisition was entirely. Not only was, like, torture, like, already... Basically, like, whatever, there was, like, the whole Spanish Inquisition was basically a burden of proof fallacy, basically.
A burden of proof shifter, yeah.
Basically, yeah. They always assumed that you were guilty of something or whatever and all that way.
Well, actually, that's a double fallacy stack. Actually, it's a two fallacy double whammer, as I call it, two fallacy double whammy. And what I mean by that is it's a combination of two fallacies. It's a false assumption fallacy and the burden of proof shifting fallacy all at once.
Yeah.
I actually met an individual whose name shall not be named here, but I actually met an individual who's actually said most fallacies are actually good arguments. I said, no, they're not.
Well, again, like, not really. Like, you can make a solid argument with a fallacy, for example. Again,
But that
like,
doesn't mean it's right.
I know, hold on, I know, but you can make a solid argument, for example, with a fallacy, but again, like, actually, well, that's why it's called the logical fallacy to begin with. It's the argument sounds good, but the form is wrong. That's why, whatever, and all that. Again, like, for example, look at, like, those old, like, there's, like, I remember these, like, Mr. Spock cartoons or whatever and all that, like Star Trek cartoons, basically, like, detailing and talking about, like, how logical fallacies are. I'd recommend they're a good watch for anyone who is willing to start in arguing and all that stuff or whatever. But what whatever and all that, basically, again, like what Spock would point out over and over again in those cartoons, which pertains to real life, is that, again, like, if an argument can sound good, but the form can be wrong.
Or the logic will have either a shortcoming or a contradiction or some other form of failure.
Exactly. So whatever and all that.
A fallacy is not a good argument. It's a fucking failure. That's the point.
Well, again, but yet again, you can make a good argument with a fallacy in it. That's why there's the thing called the fallacy. Like, for example, saying that someone is wrong because they made a poor form argument or something like that that's a fallacy in and of itself.
Yep.
You can't say to someone you are using a logical fallacy, therefore you're wrong. You still have to prove another way, like, not more than just logic alone to prove that they are wrong or something like that or whatever.
You can't assume that their entire argument is wrong because of a fallacy that was involved in it.
Mm-hmm. And, so on and so forth, whatever and all that. Yeah.
Alright.
There's always going to be something out there. Something or someone that's either really stupid or dishonest or both. It's what I found out the hard way, but whatever and all. Evil Sith plans intensifying, but whatever.
But, let's just, I think we dipped the, voluntarism on the head, along with what drifted in multiple directions, what connect while still relating to it. So anyways, the other topics.
As you wish.
They're in the DMs. I'm looking for a fucking gold spider to kill again, so I can get another gold skull or two. How in the fuck nuts does this work? How in the fucking hell am I gonna find this? What's the next subject? Since we talked about the NAP and voluntarism, and along with a bunch of side driftings, although they were a little bit connected to it.
Sure, yeah, whatever and all that. But
Next up is food.
All right.
well, we wanted to talk about booze and all that stuff or whatever, but also whatever. Also, we went on to Star Wars at one point and all that about King Leia, so on and so forth.
No one really wants Star Wars except you, Revan.
Excuse me, again, like, who the frick just talked about King Adeus and all that stuff or whatever?
Me.
So on and so forth?
Just because we're all Star Wars nerds here doesn't mean that we're all here to talk about Star Wars.
Yes, it does.
You've literally made Star Wars your identity.
Not necessarily, but alright. Like, there's more to me than that. Like, again, like, for example, I make, like, how I was diagnosed with autism as a child and all that stuff as a joke, but it's not the sole point of my freaking identity, no. But it is.
Now, calm
fun,
down.
Unwad your panties.
No. I'm not mad, I'm just pointing that out. Sorry, go on.
Let's see. We're gonna continue about booze in a little bit, but food. Well, what do you guys do either of the two of you cook much, or yes, no?
I've been getting into a lot of cooking.
Yeah, I used to cook a lot, whatever, and all that. I guess I should go back into it. I've been bouncing up and down. I used to...
I think I need to test a few old recipes from a decade or two ago that I have of my own, of my creation. I need to test them and see if I can improve on them, and if I can, I'll improve on them before I upload them to all recipes.
There's a good way of steam cooking eggs.
Steaming eggs?
Yeah.
Well,
kills everything basically. Well, it's still like in a pot or whatever and all that. Not a pot, I mean like a pan or whatever and all that. But you have to have like a pan cover. You put like the water like right in the center and all that, and the steam will just cook the egg like perfectly.
eggs, if they're pastured, are an excellent source of fats and protein.
Yeah, eggs are fine. I don't know. Sometimes I like them, sometimes I don't. I really hate the white taste. I love the yolk taste, but whenever the whites and all, I hate it. It's gross.
Yeah, a lot of my folks.
Egg whites are good for you, Revan.
Well, technically, both are.
We're not stormtroopers or KKK.
I don't know about you, but I'm a Moon Man advocate.
Ooh, we're old fashioned. Ooh. Oh my.
It can be argued that I have some connections to the Ku Klux Klan or not. Whatever. Might be just a rumor.
No, you don't.
Fair enough.
Stop it, or I'm gonna cut you in half with a lightsaber.
Eat your eggs, Revan. Eat your eggs.
Wyatt.
Where in the hell is this gold spider at? That's what I want to know.
Whatever. Is there any way to re-enter the podcast room on the west?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
this little chat room, this voice chat room we're in.
All right. Yeah. Whatever. It doesn't seem like there's in your computer, but all right, I'll check again.
All right. I'm gonna pause it for a moment, folks. My favorite thing to do with my favorite thing, eggs, if they're pastured or first off, You don't have to have grain to feed a chicken. You don't need to have grains and shit to feed them. Although if you want to involve seeds and such, you can use hemp seeds, even primrose, or you can mix the two, and chia and hemp, and flax, you know, those four seeds in certain ratios, or even in equal parts in small amounts as an additive to silage if you want it. If you really want to go that far. And you would not need much, because silage, pastures, insects, the compost for them to get probiotics out of, and insects out of, is all they need. Along with water, and get warming them and immunizing them once in a while, and if you must, and sun, ultraviolet B light, or sun, from light bulbs that make it, or sunlight. That's it. It's not that much they need as a whole. It's just 5 to 7 things. Categorized, if you will, and you can technically just raise them grain free. Fuck, if I wanted to, I can kill a wild boar, make specialized bucket, cut the carcass up, throw it in the bucket. While it's gonna smell to high heaven, house flies and green bottle flies will go in there and eat the flesh, or lay eggs in the dead flesh. The maggots will eat it, and the chickens have a hold of maggots. Hey, bam. That's a holistic approach to it. The bones can be taken out and tossed out in the woods. Chickens have something good to eat that way. There's like 20 ways of feeding chickens without even needing to involve grain for 1 second. So, but if you're raised like that yourself, that's the best option. Second best would be pasture raised. Third best option would be omega-3 fortified. Your fourth best option would probably be certified humane, fed and handled. The fifth best option would be Eggland's best eggs. Those are your top 5 best options for half-assed decent eggs, nutritional and taste-wise. And if it's, there's fucking us. I've passed them all this time. Alright, where's my spatter key? And yes, the autistic Sith will want to be back with us soon enough. So yeah, and a lot of don't argue with vegans about this, even though they've been proven false on the longevity and whatnot. And overlike the vegetarian, debunk them on how to be sustainable and harm as few animals as possible. Well, any average lacto vegetarian that knows what I'm saying will agree with this. And they have the least overall cause of mortality, death, the least amount of death, lowest death rates from all around cause, mortality, I suppose, if I worded that right. Not, pardon me. And but long fucking day. But yes. Continuing on, I think my favorite thing to do is I get some coconut oil or coconut milk or coconut cream, and I blend it in yerba mate with like 1 or 2 pastured egg yolks, and a little bit of something called essential greens, about a few tablets of something called fermented chlorella. I drink that in the morning sometimes. And I'll tell you what, and you add just a touch of vanilla to it, just it's absolutely perfect. It's a great creamy. It's creaminess, a little vanilla, that unique yerba mate flavor, and they complement each other real well in the drink. It's not bad, and it's light on the stomach, surprisingly. The coconut comes through as well. For those with a coconut allergy, I hate to say it, it's gonna suck. Now you can't go relaxed carnivore. If you can handle dairy, you could put dairy to it, like cream and grass-fed butter. You can do a little of each and do that, and then blend that shit out of it that way. By themselves, or like I do with a little bit of the essential greens and the fermented chlorella tablet to add that little green color to it, and the touch of vanilla.
Want to know my secret to cooking?
What's that?
Cheese and cayenne pepper. That is it.
Mine's cayenne pepper, black pepper, salt, onion, garlic, and timing. I mean, that's just basic. That's just basic for everything for me, really. Just salt, black pepper, garlic, onion, and cayenne pepper.
If that's basic for you, then I don't know what that says about my cooking skills. Well, I do know, I just don't want to say, because then I'll feel bad.
Nah, that's nothing. Dude, that's a perfect start. I just grew up differently. I grew up around like people who was influenced by the coon asses. That's really all it says, because they use cayenne on everything. Like, cayenne for us is like black pepper to you guys.
Sounds good.
And we love the fuck out of garlic. And
Woo, garlic.
yeah, like I said, my basics is salt, black pepper, cayenne pepper, garlic, and onion. Now, I made a seafood pate that's pretty badass. I surprised myself. Only thing is, I wish I could buy the some more raw oysters to do some with. So I got these tins of. Take this off real quick. These cod livers in their own oil, folks. This is a King Oscar brand, and these are fucking amazing. When you take a tin of these and it's in the oil. After you blend them, you pulse the oil into the cod liver. And what I use is I either use smoked bristlings or smoked sardines in extra virgin olive oil or in water, and I blend them together. Now these are the other ones. This is imported by Three Line Imports, but the company is what's the name of the damn company on here? Shit, I'm trying to look at the company name. I gotta look on Amazon, but I got an Amazon link that shows all my the food and supplements, foods, and books. You're gonna see all kind of crazy ass books. You're about to. In fact, I'm gonna, because I have a lot of friends who are Christian and shit, right? So,
Yep.
Including Crazy Christian here.
Hello.
And I'm going to make a Christian voluntarist starter pack, if you will. And, start you out on it. Christians out there out on it.
If you are a Christian and you aren't voluntarist, I don't know what you're doing with your life, but you need to stop.
Amen.
Like, when I found voluntarism, I never ever looked back. Now that I have it, looking back on my past beliefs, such a cringe fest.
What were
And it's
you?
either,
What were you before you were a voluntarist and born again?
uh, well, I guess, I started off, kind of leaning left, because, I was born in a multi-ethnic, home. Uh, I'm very, very mixed. Uh, and, growing up in mainly blue states or in blue areas, there was that. But I always had like some kind of sympathy for the military and for gun ownership. And so I started off left, but then in high school I started leaning very, very right. Uh, so I guess to some degree, I was a bit libertarian. But when I found voluntarism, nothing else made sense. Uh, One thing I believed pre-voluntarism. Um, let's see. I can't think of anything on the spot. Maybe I had one too many drinks earlier. Apologies.
It's alright. But said you were born again, right?
Oh yes.
What
yeah,
were you before you were
definitely.
born again?
What wasn't I? My parents are non-denominational. Though my mother and was a Catholic and her family still is. So I was originally baptized Catholic. Then I was hardline Protestant. First Baptist, then Methodist. Then I was, one of those like know-nothing Christians who just went with the progressive culture. And then, as I became more right, I became a Gnostic. And then, as I was finding voluntarism, I got into occultic studies, primarily Freemasonry, Hermeticism, and Rosicrucianism. And over a year ago, I was born again. So that's my story.
Yeah, I grew up in a Methodist setting, but my father was a Baptist. My other parent was supposed to be a Methodist. Supposed to be. Not going into that shit. But
Oh, I know how it is.
yeah, and I have backgrounds of Presbyterian, um, Catholics, and Baptists, Methodists, and
Hey, if I join a few more different churches, I might have checked off everything on my punch card. Maybe you'll get a free coffee.
all right. Yeah,
Now that I think about it, it'd be easier to list the Christian denominations I wasn't.
yeah. I grew up under the Methodist setting, well, non-denominational for the most part, but yeah, I come from a background, and some people, I'm not gonna give names, I'm not gonna say who, I don't want people to ask because I'm not going to tell. But let's say some branches were Mormon. So yeah, so some of my folks have a history between Christendom and Mormonism. Mormons are pretty wild, brother.
Oh, don't I know it.
Pretty goddamn wild.
Yeah. Though they gave us they indirectly gave us the Book of Mormon musical, which I have to admit is my guilty pleasure. I'm an avid fan of South Park. I recommend sitting your young children in front of it to learn life lessons. So naturally had to watch some of that.
Fuck. Alright. Let's see if I can do the chase camera.
Well, since we're talking about Christianity, I think that's a perfect transition into booze. What do you think?
I guess. I mean, if you want to go the symbolism, I'm technically drinking a dead person's blood before rising.
Yeah. Good.
I mean, I'm drinking wine essentially, folks. Again, I'm drinking a rather a dark-aged Chardonnay. Look how dark folks. If you look at the camera, that is a from an old Chardonnay bottle for more than a decade. This is what it looks like when it aged. It's sweet, but it has a oaky, like smoke-like finish to it. It's fucking weird. But it's fruity and sweet. It has that like oak finish. It's weird, but I love it.
Fruity, sweet, oak finish, and this is all in a Chardonnay.
Yeah, a really old Chardonnay. Yeah.
What year?
Let me go get the bottle. I'll be right back. So actually, I want to top myself off a little bit. This is good shit. I'll be right back.
All right.
It doesn't say. It
Bullshit.
comes from the Gallo family. Or Gallo, or whatever. This is it here, folks. I'm showing it on cam. On the cam here. And it's a Chardonnay. It's as dark as it shows in the cup. It has a mapley sweet tart smell. Or mapley smell a little bit. Straight from the bottle. I'm gonna open it. Fucking, that's unique. I just use a tea mug and I just do like this smelling. Swirl it around the teacup here and smell. Okay, fruity. It's hard to describe. The smell's hard to describe, but when you first pop the bottle open, it has a mapley smell to it. When you first pop the bottle open.
You're making me seriously jealous, dude. Now I have to go repent and it's all your fault. See why I don't have too many Christian friends, at least online?
Yeah.
They can't stand me. They can't stand what I like to talk about.
Let's see. I can't. Okay, vanilla. Okay, they said our medium-bodied Chardonnay is a pleasing range of citrus notes. Okay, that's what the fruity was. That explains some hints of vanilla. I didn't pick it up. and a dash of oak. Okay, that the oak's definitely more pronounced throughout this time around. I don't know. This bottle, oh shit, 2009. I finally found it. It's 2009. It's real tiny. It's right at the end of my fucking finger, folks. Right at the end of my fingernail. 2009.
So it's a dark Chardonnay from the beginning of the black man's term in office.
Yep.
Symbolic.
There's nothing like it. I just DM'd Crazy Christian here just to give him that. This is excellent. For a 10-year, for something to age 10 years, it's impressive. But I'm probably not going to drink any more of this for now because I'm going to probably leave that alone because we use it for. We use wine to cook with and I drink it sometimes. I have Liberty Creek Pinot Noir actually put away. There was like a fucking deal on it. It's like super cheap, and I was like, fucking yes. I was like, what? They said it's $6.90 something a bottle. I said, why not?
$6.90.
$6.90, $6.95 or something in that range. It's like $6.90 something. And again, I said, why not? Oh my god.
Of course that's what you said.
Yeah, I said to myself, why not?
What I would say is I like a metric fuck time.
Yeah, fair enough. Fuck!
You either just died again, or
Yep.
the weirdest sneeze.
I died again.
I figured as much.
Holy shit, that was close. Fuck!
So I guess we can revisit booze whenever Revan gets back.
I'm gonna piss him off when I tell him what I got.
So let's move on to investments. You got some investment opportunities for me?
Yeah, I'm actually going to share this link with it. 2 places to invest in a few pieces of silver once in a while for everyone. Damn it! I wonder how I could swap this into third person mode. Gameplay options. Falling damage. Damn right it's off. What the hell? I'm trying to display options, no. I guess I can't pretty cool, actually. I love how they portrayed that shit. Okay. Damn, that was close. I'm gonna save on health here. This is fucking ridiculous. I'm gonna sit here and just idle it for a minute so regenerate. I'm gonna put this wine bottle up and I'm gonna go take a urination. I'll be back shortly.
You there?
Oh yeah. Got myself some chicken and doused it in hot cayenne pepper sauce.
Nice.
And sorry. Shit, I'm not talking with anything in my gullet. Say if you're gonna fry chicken, there's a few suggestions. If you want to get rid of the like grains or anything like that, tiger nut flour is probably one of your best option for like a flour that's low to moderate carb in total in content.
Okay, thank you.
It's a combination of the two. Probably your best approach for the garbanzo bean flour would be to use pre-soak them in like 3 hours in acid. Like get some vinegar and add it to water until it tastes tart. Starts to taste a little tart. And use that to cover the garbanzo beans by like, I guess about 2 to 3 inches above the beans. Pre-soak them like that for 3 hours. Then you pour that off, rinse them out. And then you soak them again in a pinch of baking soda per quart of water for like 5 hours. So that's a total 8 hour soaking period, I guess. And when you've done that, you rinse them off and you boil them, either pressure cook them or boil them on high heat for 30 minutes before turning the heat down low. And the reason I'm saying is you can do that, dehydrate that, and grind, and you have a small mill and mill that into a flour that's got no that's got no lectins in it of any particular kind. And if you refrigerate it and then let it dehydrate it afterwards, you'd have a means of getting rid of the anti-nutrients and some of the starch will turn into resistant starch upon chilling in the fridge, retrodegrading. Doesn't really block sugar spikes, folks. It's kind of been practically been proven wrong, but it does reduce the carbohydrate calories you absorb. It reduces carbohydrate, calorie or carbohydrate impact a little bit, but doesn't really block sugar spikes. What you will get from it. But anyway, that's what the tiger nut flour cutting it even further would be for. There'd be no so the carbohydrate would be extremely low at that point. But and if you're gonna fry it in anything, use beef fat or lard that's cleanly raised or pastured or something like that, or in the case of a cow, grass or silage fed, or just regular beef fat, as long as it's clean. As long as the fucking bull or cow it came from is clean. And then you just do that. And if you could find a way to fabricate a pressure fryer, like a low pressure fryer, do so if you want.
So, how long do these podcasts of yours usually last?
Depends.
Do you think Revan's coming back anytime soon?
He's supposed to.
Well, I don't mean to destroy your whole podcast here, but I got to make myself scarce.
Alright, you heading out? Going to sleep?
I got a few things to do before then, but yeah, I kind of have a long day.
I did too.
Yeah.
But I've told people like a few weeks. Oh shit! Not till a week or two back. I was gonna do a podcast on Friday night, but I didn't do it. You know, I had to, and I was dealing with some bullshit. So I decided, I'll do it tonight. I haven't eaten ketchup in like 4 or 5 years.
Excuse me, sir?
I said I've not eaten ketchup in like 4 or 5 years.
I heard you, but I just did not believe the heresy that was coming into my ears.
Sorry. Too much. It's a third sugar. There's a reason I didn't. Well, today I made my own, and it's fucking fantastic, folks.
Okay. Alright. Well, anyway, I really do need to go.
Alright, the autistic Sith is back.
Really?
What?
He was heading off.
I just as I was about to leave, you come.
Yeah, I had to, like, you know, I had to take a shower and everything and all that and so on and so forth, so.
Alright, well, you two have fun.
Alrighty. Well, to catch you up, webbing. I found out that the Chardonnay I'm sipping on was made and bottled in 2009, so it's aged by 10 years.
Oh.
Found that out. I looked at the bottle long enough. Ah! Damn it!
Alright, do you want to talk about Star Wars, or what do you want to talk about now?
I was catching you up real quick.
Alright.
And I just gave people some tips on frying. About using a heat-stable fat. As long as if the animal was cleanly raised enough, ideally. And you can use tiger nut flour or a mix of tiger nut and pretty much free at that point. Garbanzo bean flour. In a mix. What little carbs there is not going to really do much of anything. And you can immerse it in the animal fat to fry, or if you can find a pressure fryer, or make a low pressure fryer and do that, then you're fucking gold, because you're set, because heat stable clean fat instead of vegetable oils, no grain, really low carb, essentially. Frying, breading, why the hell not? Me, I just advocate pastured lard and shit like that myself. So yeah, yeah. So yeah, why don't we talk about Star Wars if you want to?
Alright, since White Monk is gone, yeah, so you're saying something about King Aedeas?
I was saying that the Rakuten Empire, what was left of their technological marvels and shit that they somehow fucking made, which is a surprise, knowing about the race enough, because, you know, that shit was considered mythological after they died and left the universe. They basically went extinct. Their shit survived through the Sith, the original Sith Empire, but what the Sith Empire took what they did, and the dark side users of the original Jedi Order, and combined those teachings together to establish the first, Sith, modern, the beginnings of the modern Sith stuff, like Sith, which was known as Sith alchemy, Sith magic, and Sith sorcery, and shit like that.
Well, I think alchemy and what is that other, whatever, I think that all falls under Sith sorcery or whatever. But...
Yeah, well, yeah, Sith sorcery, it was all branches of it, or advancements of it. That's where it all came from initially.
Well, yeah, well, there's also Tulon Horde and all that, but yeah, whatever. Sure. If
it wasn't for the Rakatan and the dark side users of the Jedi that left, that defected from the original Jedi Order.
Well, they didn't defect, they were exiled.
Or they were exiled from the fucking, what was that war, the Force War or something? What was that war on that?
The First Great Schism, I can't exactly remember.
First Great Schism or some shit, basically where the ones who believed in using both sides of the Force and the ones that only used one, they used the light side, went to war and were killing each other. And the ones who believed in using both got exiled and were considered darker users only after that.
Sure, I guess. I don't know. It depends. Well, again, no, they were full on, like, they were the first Sith Lords, such as, what is his name again? Ajunta Paul, I'm trying to remember their name, Tarnis Mur.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember.
Well, they defected from using
both.
both.
They're the first Dark Jedi exiles on Korriban. Trying to remember her name. I forget her name. Can't remember her name, but Tarnis Mur and Ajunta Paul, and there's others. I can't remember all of them.
Yeah.
Unless I'm screwing up my lore and they're in two different time periods. I think they're both exiles, whatever and all that. There's a couple of other exiles that were, I think the first Dark Ladies of the Sith. I can't remember. Zozan, or Zozan. I think, I don't know, I forget how to pronounce her name. Zozan, yeah, Zozan. She, was one of the first Dark Ladies of the Sith, and, oh, there was a ton more. I can't remember. There's a bunch of them, but yeah.
But yeah, but
Tarnis Mur was the guy who started the Rakghoul plague. If you're a major Star Wars fan, or actually not even a major one, you might even know about the Rakghoul.
I know a little about it, but to sum it up, that's what happened. The dark side users of the original Jedi Order defected. The Sith took what learned from them. They intermingled together. And they took what they also learned from the Rakatan after they basically were extinct.
Huh.
And that was the start of a lot of the modern Sith shit right there.
Yeah.
Well,
there was also, there's plenty of other versions of the Sith with their own versions and all that stuff.
But that was the very,
actually,
I know,
the
that was
version
the
of
very
Force.
original. That was like the very original that took off.
There's a funny enough about, if you want to talk about my character Revan specifically, he made an advancement of one Force ability, Force Storm.
I know that.
Essentially, yeah, he made an advancement in it. What he did was, like, the original Force Storm, it was come up by someone else. I can't remember who it was, but basically what Force Storm is, if people don't know in the audience or whatever and all that, is basically what happens if you accelerate Force Lightning and then basically you point it up and it shoots out all over the place or whatever and all that. You'll see it in KOTOR if you ever want to see it, Force Storm. But what Revan did to make it even a Force Storm even better was basically to make it into a cloudy tornado of lightning. And Sidious basically took Revan's teachings and put them on made it even worse. He was able to, in Dark Empire, he was able to destroy entire rebel fleets and all that stuff or whatever. And he was known to destroy even entire civilizations with it. And again, this was Sidious with this variation of Force Storm. And he wasn't at its, he didn't have full power over it, he didn't have full control over it. Like, we're not, and so, if you want to think about how powerful Sidious was, and how powerful Force Wielders are, just imagine, like, basically how powerful Force Storm got with Sidious and all that stuff, was he's able to destroy entire planets and all that with it. With full control, imagine what he could do. Like, he could, forget about just talking about small stars and systems and all that stuff. Imagine what he could do if he got it on full power. He could have, destroy entire solar systems or something insane like that. Not kidding, by the way. Brig.
Fuck, I can't.
You can't even imagine, yeah, just Sidious destroying an entire solar system.
No, I'm saying I can't continue this.
Just imagine that in the background, the city is just cackling away while an entire solar system gets consumed by lightning.
I'm sorry, folks. I got to give myself something to prop up. I'm not gonna fucking do this shit and just die like that.
Okay. I'm curious, can the stream see your game or whatever and all that? I doubt it, but I'm just curious. Wes?
Sure.
They can see your game?
See if it's live. See if I'm streaming it.
Alright, whatever. Well, there's way more than just that alone, but yeah, whatever.
Let me
But
call
anyway,
you.
yeah,
DM
like all
you
those
real quick.
people out there who say that also, and whatever that whatever, there's other Star Wars fans out there that say that Revan wasn't at the top tier. Again, he was the same man that innovated the Force Lightning ability, Force Storm, up to Sidious's level. He was an innovator and all that. So that would make at least Revan at least just as at the very least, just as powerful as Dooku or something like that.
Oh, I know it.
But well, actually, probably even above that. He's probably up in Vader's category or above.
Mm-hmm. All right, let me call you.
All right, so are we still streaming?
Yeah, I'm still doing it.
All right. Ooh, Doom 2. Doom's 2. What the fuck? Doom 2. Yeah. You got a golden soul? So like one of the.
It's a mod. It's a modded Doom
Oh,
game.
it's a mod. Oh yeah, well there's a crap ton of mods for Doom games out there. They're probably all over the dang place.
Alright, who in the fuck is this?
Who in the fuck is it? Whatever and all that, whatever, that, if you want to know who the actual Sithari was in King of Deus, although King of Deus is pretty awesome, it was Darth Bane, actually, who was the actual Sithari. Like, whatever, basically, it described, like, how he dealt with Lord Khan and all that stuff, whatever, in the Brotherhood of Darkness at that point in time, and so on and so forth, which was basically, whatever and all that, which, so on and so forth. He destroyed it. He basically, like, whatever, destroyed, like, it perfectly describes the Sithari, basically, Bane. What does Bane do? He destroys, the entire, Brotherhood of Darkness and whatever and all that. And what does, the Sithari legend say, whatever and all, or the legend of the Sithari, or whatever. It says that he's basically gonna destroy, the Sithari is supposed to destroy the entire Sith Order and make them better. Whatever and all that. And guess what? Immediately afterwards, he starts the Rule of Two, which, even though I would say that there's flaws within the Rule of Two system, it's way better than what the Brotherhood of Darkness had. And so on and so forth.
True.
Anyway, what do you want? Anyway, Wes, I don't know. Do you want to talk? Anything else you want to speak about referring to Star Wars?
What's your basic, what's your favorite thing to make, food-wise? So you kind of missed out a bit on the food and booze combo with, Crazy Christian and myself.
I don't, like, if I make it from scratch or whatever, I guess hamburgers are pretty easy to make, and they're very fun to make as well.
Right.
Whatever, I learned on the internet, whatever, looked on the internet, I made, like, a little, like, giant, like, bowl, like, shaped and all that stuff, and figured out and all that stuff. It's a really great way to make a burger, whatever and all that. And all the meat, the ground meat I have is from cows, so even if I end up undercooking it by accident, like, nothing's gonna pretty much happen, because the reason why cows, whatever and all that, get all the diseases that they do. It's not a 100% guarantee, but the reason why that happens and all that stuff is because of how they're not grass-fed. They're fed with garbage and all that or whatever nowadays. But, yeah, basically, long story short, yeah, like, cooking hamburgers is one of my favorites and all that. Like, whatever, I'm making it like it's this bowl shape or whatever, and it makes it into a perfect patty and all that stuff, and whatever, whatever. Don't want to, what I always loved about, there's more to it, and also the seasonings and all that stuff, it's pretty dope. There's far more to it than that, but I'm just too tired and too, I don't know, brain laggy right now. I don't know, my brain feels like stone right now. I don't know why.
Well, for me, there's a lot of things I enjoy doing. By the way, folks, if you ever want to know more about recipes that I have, I'll try to make more access to more of them for you. And yeah, I'm gonna try to make myself an all recipes page or one of them, or I'll make one. Excuse me. And I'll try to make a page for you guys to go check all my recipes out on, and also I'm going to some of the investments I'm gonna do. I didn't get to finish with Crazy Christian, but I got a couple ounces of silver. There's two websites I'm gonna shill on that aspect if you want to. Ideally, what you want to do, if you're one of those people that want or advocate cryptocurrencies, what you really want to do is use cryptocurrency to an absolutely as anonymous as possible fucking account through Bitcoin, through crypto mining and shit, and record it as a like a completely encrypted ledger. And what you do then is buy the precious metals with the either the ledger or the anonymous cryptocurrency, and then have it shipped to a location that you could get to that's not at your house, and that's how you can do that anonymous investment. That's how you can do it, folks.
Anyway, well, there's also I've had an idea about like trying to make store-bought pizzas better, like whatever and all that. Even though whatever it's not really cooking because it's not homemade. I probably should make my own homemade pizzas though. But anyway, like I had an idea about that. What I thought of doing was grabbing like I wanted to weld together like a metal box or something like that or whatever, and put some insulation on the outside of it to keep it like nice and warm and all that stuff, and basically grab charcoal from my chimney outside, and whatever and all that. We'll put hardwood inside the chimney and light it on fire and so on and so forth. Do the rest, and then I grab the charcoal out and stuff it inside this metal box, basically whatever, and put a pizza right in it. Well, with the grill and all that stuff or whatever. Not a grill necessarily.
Basically like a charcoal oven.
Yeah, basically, yep, charcoal oven to try and make the store-bought pizzas taste better.
That's a great thing to do.
Hold on. And also to make the temperature hotter in a certain element, what I could do is have like to not make it too hot though. I'd have to be careful, but I'll have to have a temperature gauge or something like that stuck to this thing. But anyway, what I will do is to raise the temperature faster is like grab a hair dryer and have like a small vent inside the coals or something like that in there, and stick it in there and press it on at certain times to make it ridiculously hot, whatever, to hasten the heat quickly. That'll make for quick cooking and it won't take that long.
Yeah, I'm gonna do something that Gundry did. He made a low lectin pizza, and I honestly think
Mm-hmm.
I'm basically going to use 2 portobellos.
Nice. Whatever. Well, a hair dryer seems to be better for me for the most part, but yet again, whatever. Sure. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, like whatever. I'm not sure what I should make it out of yet. I wonder if I should go for stainless steel, or if I should go for what is it again? Or if I should just go for regular like a scrap metal basically, because there's a scrap metal place where I'm at, like nearby me, literally right beside me. And just coat it with like grind it all the rust off and coat it with like spray paint or so on and so forth.
You could probably use that, but you also could probably find a way to build one like just like it out of high temp brick, like fire brick and shit, and high temp cement that's affordable. Cause
Alright, well, whatever. First, I have to get a job first, which I'm working on, but yeah, whatever.
Yeah, understood.
It's gonna take me a while because whatever. I've already mentioned it on stream before, I guess, so I may as well mention it now. So whatever. I'm dealing with mental health issues, so whatever. Yeah, I may as well just yeah, I'm taking my time with whatever. Getting back into the workplace and so on and so forth, or whatever.
Yeah.
Although I am becoming more stable recently, and I'm feeling a lot better. Whatever.
That's good to know.
Yeah, geez.
Let's watch this, see what happens.
Oh, well, hey, it's all part of the evil Palpatine plans. Remember that.
Yeah, huh?
Dun, dun, dun. Now, Lord Vader. Do what must be done, Lord Vader. Do not hesitate, show no mercy. And only then will you be strong enough to say Pat. Anyway, whatever, forget it. Alright, so yeah, I'm trying to think of other ways to, cook, speaking on that pizza, if I go on further, what I thought about doing is, like, grabbing, like, garlic and grabbing a razor and slicing it super thin, like how they do it in Goodfellas. Like, slicing the garlic super thin.
Yeah.
That's what I thought of doing. Where, although they're speaking hyperbolically here, basically, like, have it, like, melt in the pan, all the whatever and all that. Basically, what I thought of doing was, putting the garlic both on the bottom and on the top. If it, like, I think I want to put the garlic on the bottom as long as it doesn't cause the pizza to stick to the pan or something like that or whatever. And, whatever, yeah, basically, just, whatever, have it, yeah, just have it, like, yeah, garlic on the bottom and top of the pan and all that stuff, because I want the garlic to soak inside the, whatever, the oils and all that stuff, going to, soak into the bread itself, so it's, like, yeah, almost eating like garlic pizza. Oh my god, that would be so good. Almost like that, almost. Garlic pizza. So yeah, I need to literally do that one day. Just buy like garlic or whatever and all that, and just slice it up into small thin pieces and all that, and put it like on the bottom and the top of the pizza or whatever. Oh my gosh, that would be so good.
Well, I was thinking of doing again was get some garlic and season it, and a little black pepper and season it, a couple of portobello mushrooms, and roast them over a wood fire.
Oh, nice.
And, oh fuck, I died. And then I would just, put the pizza sauce and then the cheese and then the toppings on the portobello mushroom.
I thought of making, like, what I want to do is grab, like, what is it again, an old propane tank, an old one or whatever and all that, basically, and cut it up to pieces, basically, and turn it, like, into, I found it on YouTube, turn it into a wok burner or whatever and all that, and stuff in, like, charcoal and do the blow dryer thing again or whatever to pump oxygen into it, basically, and, yeah, whatever and all that, and plus, heat, whatever, air from a blow dryer is already hot, so it's already going to make it even hotter over time, or so on and so forth, which would be interesting. Plus, it's automated, so you don't have to, like, press into it, but still, it's like, yeah, whatever. It would be nice to whatever. Basically, you make really like fast cooking, like over a wood fire, basically like that. Although you have to be careful not to melt the steel and all that stuff, but still, it is interesting.
That could work.
Which makes me wonder. I wonder if I should use cast steel or cast iron. Probably cast steel might be a better idea.
Yeah, again, you have to. It's affordability.
Well, not only that, it's also the fact that it might be easier to weld cast steel over cast iron. I guess. I don't know. Whatever.
I think it's.
I don't know much about metal. I don't know that much about metals like that. Whatever. I know plenty about metals. Don't get me wrong, but.
You could weld cast iron. It's just it depends on what kind of welding you're gonna use and what type of. I think.
Oh, you need superheat to weld cast iron.
And you gotta be careful with it. You gotta be very precise. Because one little slip, you can fuck it up real well. Because it's a tough metal. It does not have much ductility. It's meant to be hard and stiff.
Oh yeah, well that's the reason why I want cast steel possibly, because it's also a tough metal as well. Although, yet again, I wonder, whatever, I'm trying to think of other things I've thought about with recipes and all that. I guess what I could do is, if I'm cooking a burger or something like that or whatever, I could try the small sliced garlic thing with it too, like on the top of the patty on the bottom, whatever and all that. If I want to, I could probably employ using moisture on the burger. I forget whatever and all that. Also, a good way of, if you want a really tasty burger, I would suggest what people often make a common mistake, although this is in Canada, so not take it with a grain of salt because this is accurate, but whatever. I recommend if you're in Canada, but I don't know what it's like in America, how they grade meat, but in Canada there's what is it again? A grading between one single A, double A, and triple A. If you want like restaurant like quality ground beef, like get triple A because it has the most fat in it and it also has the most flavor. Single A is the type that if you want to go on a diet or something like that, like it's lean.
Well, the best tasting, yeah, it's got to be the top grade.
Exactly, so it's triple A. So, well, it's got the most fat in it, therefore has the most flavor. And
yeah.
It actually, fat meats can, unless you're like obese or something like that or whatever, you can, whatever, they can be pretty healthy for you because it's healthy fats coming out of there for the most part, as long as the cow's grass-fed, basically, so. Yeah, they can, like, that's good fats for your brain and all that stuff or whatever.
Yeah. Another thing,
is why I wonder, like, why vegan YouTubers act all crazy and insane and all that stuff. Like, not all of them, but whatever.
But they all have the same fallacies and biases, and they refuse to change from them. They're very dogmatic about that.
Not only that, like they have that's like vegan games, for example. It's like these psychopathic like whatever tantrums and all that stuff or whatever and all that or whatever, or they have issues like they seem to have mental issues, and it makes me wonder again. Like there's necessary like stuff within like fats and all that stuff in like meats and all that are needed for the human brain and all that stuff or whatever. And in animals and so on and so forth, which which makes me wonder, like, these people literally going insane and losing their mind and becoming more and more cultish because they literally won't eat meat or whatever. Basically.
That's what it looks like, because, even you know, no offense, like you said, you got mental health issues, but yeah, you're saying it, like, you're noticing the pattern, like,
but
you're
I'm
noticing
not a
the
vegan,
pattern.
like,
since you're very, you're well versed in psychoses and whatnot. Since you.
I'm not too bad. I'm no mental health professional, though.
I know that, but you're well versed in it, in psychoses in general.
Sure, give or take, but whatever and all that. But, like, again, you got to remember when it comes to psychology in general and all that stuff, or whatever. Moving on to that, I guess, whatever. that like again, there's like psychology isn't black and white, which is very similar to the mistake that I will not name the person making a mistake here, but whatever. The person that shall not be named making this very mistake here, that psychology isn't always black and white. Again, like there's all kinds of circumstances surrounding like whatever how like you whatever you gotta make sure like your diagnosis or whatever and all that stuff or whatever, or your analyzation of it and an interpretation of information revolving around the brain and all that stuff. And plus, everybody interprets something differently and so on and so forth or whatever and all that.
It's got to be accurate.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why that's one of the many reasons why I don't deem myself a mental health professional, because for one thing, I don't have training and all that, and second, again, it's really hard to, as I said, again, there's so like psychology isn't all black and white and all that stuff. Again, like, and so on and so forth. And plus, again, like, it reminds me of the time, like, when I, like, for example, again, my idea in psychology is so lacking. Like, for example, if anyone's a fan of the Avatar, like, Azula and all that, like, her psychology, like, I had the original theory that she was a sociopath, but then I changed my mind completely on that one because that was not at all correct, actually, on how she was and all that. But again, I was lacking in psychological knowledge, and then so on, and then my opinion changed again into her being a narcissist. But yet again, she's like, yes, she does have the raising environment of a narcissist and so on and so forth, because they have narcissists tend to have like constant praising as a child, which Azula probably had plenty of, or whatever and all that. But yet again, I have my mind set on she's basically a psychopath, because again, like narcissists, like again, like start off as normal people for the most part as children, I guess, as far as I know. Correct me if I'm wrong on this or whatever and all that. Anyone in the comments, whatever and all that, I'm willing to listen. Whatever and all that, you can call me an idiot if you want, because I am a psychological moron. Again, I'm no professional, but yet again, the children start off pretty normal, who become narcissists start off pretty normal and all that stuff, but over time, because they get constant praise and approval and all that stuff, they start thinking that they're superior to everyone else and so on and so forth, and they start acting like entitled, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, there's more to narcissism than just that as well. Like, again, a person can act like an entitled ass and whatever and all that, and not be a narcissist and all that, and so on and so forth. No, there's a lot of things, whatever, but yeah, I'm talking about the psychology revolving around Azula, but whatever and all that. Yeah, but now I have my idea that she's a psychopath, since she seems like from childhood, basically, she seemed to have always had issues. Again, like if you look in Avatar comics and all that stuff, it's pretty interesting. But yeah, whatever. She's always had problems, and yeah, psychopath is basically born, as far as I checked multiple sources. Pretty sure that's correct. Again, and correct me if I'm wrong, because again, I'm no psychologist or whatever. I'm not professional. Although it would be interesting, I feel like whatever my mother recently brought up the idea of like whatever me going to this school and becoming a psychologist because of how good I am at this stuff or whatever, which is interesting or whatever. Well, okay, well I'm not. Well, I don't know. I know mental health professional, and I haven't trained in anything like this and stuff like that. Also, I'm autistic, so I'm really hard at articulating emotions and all that stuff, and hands feel notice, but still, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. It is very interesting, though, psychology, though. It is a very, interesting topic and all that,
And there's a lot of psychology that's built on some quack ideas, too.
Oh, yeah, that too, and plus, whatever and all that, or, like, well, people, like, well, yeah, again, well, look at the ancient, like, asylum days and all that stuff, and what they used to think was okay.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
like again, they think that whatever, they didn't even know much about the brain back then, and they thought it was a good idea to like take parts of the brain out or something like that. How stupid do you have to be, Frank?
yeah. Well,
Freaking heck.
yeah. yeah, about an earlier subject. I know what I'm gonna do for my birthday.
What are you gonna do then?
Well, I'm thinking about making an absolute low carb blue and blackberry tart. That's the first thing. Also gonna make a grain-free carrot cake. And I'm going to extend my cake making supplies to by a shit ton, just to make sure I have the flour replacement in sufficient amounts. I got tiger nut flour coming in. What you do is you get some Great Northern white beans. You pre-soak them, like I said before. You know how I do legumes. 3 hours in vinegar spiked water till it's tart. Starts to taste sour. And then I for 3 hours pour that off, rinse them, soak them in a pinch of baking soda per quart of water for 5 hours. And then I just boil them on high heat before I actually cook them until they start to turn soft. I don't want them fork tender, but they start to turn soft. Same way with the garbanzo beans and making flour out of that. Then what I do is quite simple. I just let them refrigerate overnight, or for a day and a night. And then what I do is I get them out, get the eggs, get the leavening agent, get my tiger nut, and my choice of coconut, almond, or both, flours to mix with it. And then I just blend the shit up in a blender, and I just make it a cake. But in this case, I'm going to have to add some clove, a little bit of clove, but mainly just cinnamon, nutmeg, touch of allspice. I'm going to make raisin paste. No sugar added raisin paste, just a small amount. And then I'm going to add my, fold some carrots into it, and then bake it like that. And then I'll have an absolute low carb fucking cream cheese icing. Which would be simple enough to make.
Alright, whatever, I know. Now, because I have the Avatar series in my head now I kind of want to talk about it now.
That's fine, but what did you think of the idea?
It's interesting. Whatever and all that. Like, the one thing I have to ask, where the frick do you get all these recipes from, or do you come up with these yourself?
Some like, I learned to make a vanilla cake, out of beans, like a regular vanilla cake out of beans. I learned how to do that like years ago, and I just never took the chance. I never took the time to do it until like a year ago, or almost a year ago. And well, I figured, well, I know the basics to carrot cake. I know how they're made. I know how the scratch mixes are made. I can just extrapolate that into this and then edit it. Went from there. And I also make my own flatbread, my ketogenic flatbread sometimes too.
Oh, nice.
It's just tiger nut flour, ground chia seed, ground flaxseed meal. Give me a second. 6 eggs, or 5. It's not 5. No, not 6 eggs. 5 eggs, or 4 egg yolks and a whole egg. Your choice. 4 whole eggs and an egg yolk. I meant to say. And I mix them together, blend them up, whisk them together, add just a small, like a small few splashes of lemon juice to get a little acidity to it, and then I just add my leavening agent to mix together, and then I turn it to flatbread and put it in a skillet like a pancake. And it has a very nice texture. You can also use almond and coconut flour in certain amounts too. Varying ratios, you know. I think tiger nut flour should be your main one. The other should just be added to it. And my favorite was the pepperoni, Italian pepperoni, garlic and herb seasoned ones. Those are my favorites. Sorry, you were gonna say about Avatar?
Oh yeah, whatever. I've just well, no, whatever. It's kind of the attitude of me's kind of died off now. But
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't.
trying to think. No, it's okay. No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's not your fault. Whatever. Not blame. Where was I? Whatever. Yeah, that would be unfair to blame you over that. But anyway, where was I? Trying to think of whatever and all that. I'm trying to think of something to talk about. Oh, what I thought of doing was I remember while I was camping one time is grabbing hot pockets and like putting them in the coals near the fire and all that stuff. Burnt them to smithereens one time. The other time it was pretty good though. I wanted to try that again or whatever and all that, like weld a small piece of metal together basically or whatever and all that, and like have this small little portable thing so I could easily make hot pockets like within a wooden fire or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that'd be badass. Where it's like I want to make like a metal like small cage for the hot pocket.
Yeah.
Basically, it's gonna be like a toaster, just so whatever and all, like a toaster almost, sort of. And I could like whatever, like roll it around in the fire and all that stuff or whatever. Ooh, that would be good for s'mores too. Didn't think of that.
Yeah.
Metal cage like that and all that stuff or whatever, and then put it in the fire, rotate it around and all that stuff within the heat and all that, and both of those will be toasted up nicely. So yeah, that actually sounds like a plan. Ooh, I wonder what I just thought of something like schemy but interesting at the same time.
Yeah.
It's kind of dangerous. Okay, so don't try this out immediately until whatever you figure out a way to do this properly. But all right, imagine like moving your toaster up, like your toaster sideways, and putting hot pockets in it, toasting.
Say it again.
Is that okay? Grabbing a toaster, putting it sideways, putting some heating installation right there and all that stuff, and making hot pockets inside the toaster sideways.
That could technically work as long as your insulation, heat insulation, protects the surface you're putting it on, and
plus also the inside, the guts and all that stuff. Like again, like you have a good chance of like the hot pocket like oozing out and all that stuff or whatever.
and causing a fire. So
yeah, exactly. Well, not a fire, but whatever. Well, actually potentially, but oozing out and like wrecking your toaster in some way or whatever and all that, like the heat coils and all that stuff. I think or whatever.
could get fucked essentially.
Yeah, exactly. So whatever and all that. It sounds like a sound idea, whatever and all that, to put stuff sideways. I think whatever, or I think a toaster like that should be made or whatever, where it goes on its side and it could like it has the size to basically multi-scale basically, where you can like put like make grilled cheese easy. Like put butter on both sides and all that stuff, and just and with the toast with a piece of whatever and all, with a piece of well, grilled cheese and all that stuff, so on and so forth, and stuff it in the side, in it sideways, so it's like a little like it's basically just easy mode make grilled cheese. Oh, and also don't forget that cage and all that stuff that I thought about that would work for grilled cheese as well if I got the right size.
Yeah.
You just frig, yeah. Also, I thought about like what's awesome. By the way, I learned in while I was camping. I used to put salami with my grilled cheese and all that. That was so good. It was like almost like bacon tasting, or it tasted like pepperoni. So what I thought of doing was like grabbing small amounts of pepperoni, putting it inside of like grilled cheese. Oh my gosh! Well, like having it having it like in garlic over a wood fire and all that. Oh my gosh, that's like masterful level cooking right there. Having it nice and toasted and all that. Mwah, that's beautiful.
I made seafood pate. I make it
Nice.
off and on, like I said earlier. What I do is actually, let me get the recipe out.
But yeah, I can come up with endless ideas for food all day. I'm an idea spewer. But yeah, like wood firing and all that stuff, whatever. Wood fire cooking, it's the best. Nothing can beat it.
Amen to that. What I do is check this out. I get a table. You could use a tablespoon of ghee or butter, bear fat, or pasture-raised lard, pastured bacon fat, coconut oil, babassu oil, grass-fed beef fat. A tablespoon of any of these choices. Saute a small shallot or a fourth of an onion that's minced up, and a clove of garlic. Once you've done that, you put them in a little blender. You take the zest of half a lemon and the juice of that half a lemon in there. And you get you 1 or 2 tins of sardines or packed in either extra virgin olive oil or in water or smoked. And and then when you get a tin of cod liver packed in on oil, like I got these here, an egg yolk, pastured egg yolk ideally, maybe up to a fourth of a teaspoon of raw honey at most. Then the rest, your seasonings, I use just a few pinches of tulsi and thyme, just because they will preserve it longer if you do this. But the main seasonings besides the onion, the garlic, and the lemon zest and juice would be sea salt, cayenne pepper, and black pepper to taste. And I take the sauteed until you like translucent onion garlic in the blender with that. Blend it all together. Before you do that, before you put all that in the blender though, and cook the onion garlic and the fat, what you do is you drain the oil off the cod liver. You pulse the cod liver oil in. Pulse it in because you don't want to damage it. And it makes a beautiful, creamy, consistent texture. And then what you do is you pulse a small amount, maybe a splash or two, or some either source of probiotic germs. It could be juice that come off of kimchi, or the juice from sauerkraut, or fermented, the kosher dill pickle brine, yogurt whey, or raw kefir whey. Or I got curtido. I can use the juice off my curtido I made, and let it ferment for 8 to 12 hours at room temp in a cool area in the dark. Then you put it in the fridge. For me, it's lasted me up to a week and a half or 2 weeks. That alone. And normally the sardine and the cod livers in olive oil will only last like 1 to 2 days after being opened. But what you're going to get is you're going to get the seafood flavor, but you're also going to get smoothness, you're going to get creaminess, you're going to get the pepper and the lemon and the garlic and the onion. Those flavors are going to come through the most to pair with the fish, and it's beautiful. And that's what you want. The honey's completely fermented out, and the enzymes from the raw honey a lot will act as preservative. The thyme and the holy basil are very little. They don't contribute to flavor hardly at all. The main flavor is the black pepper, the cayenne pepper, the salt, the lemon, and the garlic and onion. Those are the flavors. It just works. It just works nice. And honestly, if you do this and you get a little spoon of it, and you get a ketogenic flatbread, and you spoon that on, a little of that on, you put your bacon, and then your lettuce, and then what I do is I get a sliced tomato, I cut out the seeds, because the seeds in the little packing that the coating the seeds are surrounded in, my body, I react to that badly with canker sores like fuck. I have not had them in 2 or 3 years since I figured that out. I documented it too. I've done it ever since. And I put the de-seeded tomato slice on there. And then on the other slice, I add just a very thin layer of either a homemade aioli or hollandaise if I have it. That makes a great BLT. Fantastic. Now, if you want to make homemade mayonnaise, they have a copycat recipe of Hellman's mayonnaise by by Top Secret Recipes or Todd Wilbur. But what you do is you can replace the canola oil with Mary and Nig's oil blend, except instead of sesame oil, you can use a blend of hemp seed and flaxseed oil is like a half cup each with the others. You
How
keep
long
the rest of
have
the
we been
recipe pretty much the
streaming now, or
same.
whatever?
Unless you got a coconut allergy, you can use babasu oil the same amount.
How long have we been podcasting?
And an
or
oil
whatever?
blend, and then you just do the recipe like that from then on. And it works pretty good.
Yep, sorry about that. But anyway, how long have we been podcasting for? Holy crap.
Yeah, it's about 2 hours, 43 minutes. Almost.
Do you want to end? Maybe want to end this now or whatever?
Sure. I mean, hey, it's a great fucking discussion.
Oh yeah.
I thought
we try whatever and all. That's not much more we can do these days and whatever, and we mature as things go on and so on and so forth. Whatever that'll, whatever, rehearsed lines, I guess, but that follow true though.
Yeah. Before we end it, I do have to let you guys know. There's a couple of places I'm going to show you if you want to invest in gold, silver, and stuff, and other metals. There's 2 links I'm going to show you guys that you can get directly from. And ideally, like I said before, you want I'm sorry, I was looking at the name files, the fucking files, save files that I named them. So retarded. One has less shipping than the other. And the other thing to consider is, like I said about the crypto thing earlier, if you're going to actually go over with the crypto, you got to find one that's not Bitcoin and Bitcoin mine the fuck out of it and having a completely anonymous fucking wallet and all that. That's encrypted and everything.
Well, yeah, you got to be careful because cryptocurrency is basically in its infancy and all that, basically at this point. So,
well, not only that, but Bitcoin can be tracked.
In the future, there's probably going to be more seen with it and all that stuff or whatever than now. Whatever and all that. Just wait and see in the future and all that or whatever. And I'm pretty sure that we'll get the cryptocurrency you're looking for, or something like that. That's pretty much purely anonymous and whatever. It's whatever.
Well, Bitcoin has been found. It could be traced since 2015. The IRS or NSA, whichever of those organizations, are able to track it. Even though the SHA 256 software that makes 2/3 of Bitcoin's function was created by the NSA. So, a coincidence? I don't know. I want to say no, but I can't be certain yet. I don't want to be tinfoil hatter motherfucker, but yeah. What you want to do if you get one is the crypto. You mine them. You get an anonymous wallet, VPN. Fucking your ISP can't detect it. kind of wallet. And you have the gold shipped to a spot, an address near you that you know is a safe spot. Or not near you, but close enough you can go to it. you can go pick it up and your metal investment. That's what you can do. And but anyways, I'm going to link you the guys these two places to invest metals in. I got 2 ounces of silver coming to me because why the fuck not? It wasn't that much. Shipping was a pain in the ass either way, but I got it. Plus I got a little had a little rainy day stuff put away for I could invest a little at a time into this because you know it doesn't hurt. Another thing is there was a there are some channels I want to promote and some products I want to promote besides the two metal investment sites. There's some channels such as I want to Bart K Nutrition Science Watchdog. Then there is then there is Carnival. There's an upstart channel who hasn't I don't think they've uploaded anything yet, or they have. I'm gonna go check into it, but it's really kind guy. He's a really sweet dude. He's very intelligent. His name's Dolan, and I'm gonna link you his channel. Then there's a bunch of channels I'm actually going to link you to, and let's see, who else was I going to link you to? Give me a minute. I took my earbud off, Revan, so I won't be able to hear you say anything. Give me a second. The People's Chemist is another one. Amber O'Hearn is another one. Sean Baker will be the next. Stephen Gundry will be there. Chris Masterjohn. Ken Berry. Butter Makes Your Pants Fall Off. That's the name of it. He's a very cool dude. Very chill. Southern drawl country boy. Very chill man. Excuse me. And there are others. There are definitely others. It's just those are the ones I can think off the top of my head right now. Because again, I'm real sleepy when I do the wine, like very little wine like this. It makes me very sleepy. But yeah, those are the channels I can think of so far. Now, when it comes to certain like hygiene, oh yeah, Frank Tefano. What the fuck? Check him out if you want to. Primal Edge Health. Son of a bitch. If you want to check some guys out on Twitter, check out Logical Links and Right Doug. Then there's a website I want you guys, if you want to check out, it's called dietplan101.com, if you want to check it out. There's some other channels, there's a couple other channels. I'm going to link all of them in a Pastebin. There's some products, some sweetener products that you guys, it'd be great if you all could try. Yes, I'm going to show for them. Most of these I've already tried. Others I know are pretty good. Lakanto. And if you want to, there's a coupon code for Lakanto. It's Primal Edge Health is one word, all caps letters. All capital letters. And it gives you 20% off of every purchase you get from the website Lakanto. And there's another one called Sweet Leaf. There's certain products of the Sweet Leaf line I'll show you. New Stevia is another. New Naturals is another company. Whole Earth Sweetener Company. That's another one. This is a seasoning brand, a seasoning line for savory like seasonings and stuff. It's they go by the name of Paleo Powder. That's some good shit. Paleo Powder. Check them out. They got different flavor lines. They got flavor lines for autoimmune protocol. They have a non-FODMAPs seasoning. They have an all-purpose. They have all this shit. It's amazing stuff they got. Amazing seasoning line. The People's Chemist, the website, the web store. You can buy books from there, such as 3 Worst Meds, Stop Eating So Fucking Much Diet. That's literally the name of it. Stop Eating So Fucking Much Diet, but it's the name of it. He's something else. I adore it. Then there's if you're into the more of the adaptogen herbs and immune type of things, there's Host Defense. MoCommunity is good shit. Excuse me. Another sweetener is a Pyure, spelled Pyure. There's another one known as Splendid Naturals. I personally do not like Splendid Company because of sucralose. Sucralose is pretty shitty, but this is the best thing they've ever made. Splendid Naturals is probably the best thing they've ever made. As a sweetener in the sweetener thing, it's the best thing they've ever made. Steviva is the next one. Steviva's been around for a little while. In fact, for a good while. Give me a second. Open window. Excuse me. But Steviva has been around for a good while. This shit was founded in 1999 by Tom King. Steviva has become one of the premier manufacturers of natural alternative sweeteners. Unlike regular table sugar, Steviva's family good-for-you sweeteners do not trigger a rise in blood sugar, making it a great choice for diabetics, low-carb, paleo, and ketogenic dieters, as well as all consumers who want to cut out or cut back on sugar consumption. Steviva brands is dedicated to bringing consumers of best around quality available their products, and honestly, they do fucking amazing. And they just they have excuse me. It's just an amazing little company that's been around, like I guess, since 1999, and they've been putting out these sweeteners for a really long ass time. And really, they're just a good. They just have a really good. They're just really good products, you know. I'm gonna actually get myself some Steviva since I subscribed to their website myself. I'm probably gonna get some at some point in the near future. I'm gonna try it, but I'm probably gonna get the Fructivia. That's potent as hell. And
sorry. Hello.
That's the same. Excuse me. And honestly, the Fructivia blend, it's one of those little dabble do yous kind of things, you know, and it's designed in a way that it has the mouth feel and taste experience of sugar, but twice the sweetness, which is a good thing. It helps kicks the sugar to the curb a lot more easy, so you have that. Now, be warned, if you have SIBO or SIBO, you probably won't be wanting to consume any of the sweetener lines that have inulin in them, because it will probably aggravate it. I don't know. I would suggest go to a medical professional before that, you know. I really would advise it, in fact. If you do have SIBO, I wouldn't chance it with the inulin. The sweeteners with inulin, so I hate to say it, but the Fructivia line and others of the Steviva line and other sweeteners that have, including Sweet Leaf, that have the inulin in it, any product that has inulin in it, I would go to a healthcare professional before trying, especially if you have SIBO. That's a discretion. That's a warning, and a medical advice. Go to a healthcare professional. Another company that sells some interesting products and is pretty cool. Besides these would be Dragon Herbs. They sell adaptogens and other things that are pretty nice. They also put in like gelatin or vegetable capsules. Placenta and organs, and they have like deer and goat. So if you're a carny, if you're one of these, or if you're more carnivorous type, go if you want to try it. You know, like again, it's on you. But my advice again, go to a medical care professional. Next thing I was going to tell you was I want to also link my badass food supplements and books list. There's a lot of controversial books. There's some not so controversial books. There's all kinds of books in there. There's all kinds of supplementation and other kinds of things like that. You can please check it out. I made it public for some people. It's an idea list on my Amazon page. Please check it out, because there's so much out there to try, and it's beautiful what changes to your health. My last few people I'm going to show for, Tea-Chino. It's a great blending agent to coffee, the different flavor lines, but do be warned, please consider, if you're going to buy any of the flavor lines that have barley in it, use the fucking paper filter, or two of them if you really want to brew it with, and then let your or have make it like staple it together with a stapler, make like a tea bag out of it, and sit that in the middle of your coffee grounds. So you can have that infusion, and that infusion infuses and extracts a coffee the coffee, goodness out of the coffee beans without the anti-nutrients and shit in a pour-over brewing method or an espresso method, for fuck's sakes. Just saying. So you don't have the gluten in it. But ideally, what I do is I just get the dandelion flavor lines, because they don't have that shit. I just use a little bit of the dandelion dark roast with any of the other flavor line of the dandelion flavor lines, like vanilla nut, caramel nut, mocha mint, turmeric, you name it. It's all there, and they're pretty good. And I use them to reduce my coffee consumption by half. And let me tell you something. If you want to do a carnivorous take of this brew, just like my matcha, an egg yolk, 2 egg yolks, a little ghee, some heavy grass-fed heavy cream, a little grass-fed butter or ghee, a little collagen powder. Bam! You fucking got it, folks. Want to do paleo instead? Swap the ghee and the cream and butter out for coconut cream or coconut milk or something like that, and then add and keep just a little collagen powder. It's there, and it's really badass. Again, this is a source of inulin. If you have SIBO, again, I don't know. I've had a lot of fucking people that carnivores that dealt with SIBO said, oh, prebiotics are a pain in the ass. They make me worse. Or FODMAPs make me worse. I was like, okay then. So, and I've listened to a lot of, I've listened to a lot of those testimonies. That's why I say this. Talk to medical care professional. Yeah, my favorites are either the Tonic Alchemy in the pouch, or the Spring Dragon drops, or the 8 Immortal drops in the minis. Very affordable, very economic. Very good stuff. Whoop. So yeah, and my community isn't that a big thing. My only criticism about my community, my little review of it, short review, folks. It has the fruiting body and myceliums of the reishi mushroom, maitake, like 1 or 2 others. Actually, I think that's it. The mycelium and the and fruiting body of reishi and maitake. That's it though. It's kind of sad because you could have gotten the Oregon Ganoderma's fruiting body, the shiitake, the turkey tails, and lion's mane, and sustainably harvested from the sustainably harvested chaga fruit body, and from birch trees anywhere in the world that's there, and the cordyceps they cultivate, the fruiting bodies they cultivate. That you could have had those as part of this formula too, and and increase the agaricon just a little bit. They could. That's the only criticism. That's what that's what Paul Stammer should do with his MoCommunity, and it'd be that much more potent and more efficient. That's the only problem I have with it. That's what makes me bring it down to an 8.6 out of 10. Because it's missing those particular fruiting body combinations. It only has it for reishi and maitake. It's a little biased, but that's my criticism of this thing here, MoCommunity. It would be a lot more potent, a lot more efficient, nicer, last longer, in the full spectrum of constituents. So it'd be nice. And I got a Love People's Chemist page on that too. About that mentioned medicinal mushrooms and stuff. Everything else is on my Amazon's idea list. Badass supplements, foods, herbs, and books, whatever. And please check it out. I want you guys to have a fantastic night. I'm going to sign off, and I'm going to go head to bed. I really appreciate the company I had on the stream. Revan, are you there still?
Yep.
All right.
I'm still here. Yep.
So,
Thanks for allowing me on.
thanks for coming.
No problem. Anytime.
Now we'll see you guys all later. Have a blessed night.
Is that it?